All right, guys. Welcome back to another live show as we about to get started. Of course, today's show is going to be open mic. The link's going to be in the chat here in about 5 minutes. We're going to let anyone come on, talk about some of the stuff that's concerning them in the Bigfoot community. There seems to be a lot of stuff that is boiling at the surface. A lot of stuff that has not been covered on this show. A lot of stuff that is some of the same stuff that we've basically been covering. A lot of hoaxing and con artist mentality, fantasy storytelling. A lot of different stuff. Some people think that everyone's being mean to each other. Some people think that a lot of different opinions, a lot of different things. I can't name them all and stuff. So I'm gonna invite people to come on if they want to talk about it. Maybe they have concerns about this show, about some of the stuff we've pointed out. We do have some stuff to point out from the Squatch Watchers and some more of examples of stuff that you have to decide on whether or not you believe based on a person telling you a story and what they what they say and what facial expressions they have and stuff. Yeah, just that a little bit. And so I'm downloading the last little video, but it should be already set to go. There's been quite a few shows lately that have been expressing their opinions and stuff, which is good because we can't have civil discord or civil discussion in the community. You can't evolve and stuff if there's no one talking, there's no one expressing their feelings, no one expressing how they really feel about what's going on and stuff. And if you bottle up your concerns or your feelings or your I wouldn't say not feelings, but your issues with what you see in the community, right? Of Bigfoot researching, of Cryptid Research, right? The problem doesn't really go away, doesn't get addressed, it doesn't really get solved, it just evolves in its own way. While you stay silent, while you don't do anything, while you just sit there and keep watching. And there are some concerns of my own, in which is mainly what you see here is truth versus fantasy, and it is it comes down to a lot of things. But it's, I see a lot of people out there that just because they're friends with people and stuff, they're tolerant of the fantasy because they're friends and stuff, even though stories sound like bullshit or there's no evidence to back it up and inconclusiveness with the outcome and stuff. Just because they're friends and stuff, they want to overlook it, and we shouldn't call out those people, and sometimes it doesn't even matter. Right. Set aside. So put the link in chat right now. And then we're going to take a look at some videos from the Squatch Watchers as they have made a fool of themselves again, in my opinion. Maybe you disagree with me. That is fine because, in this channel and stuff, you can disagree and stuff. You can have your own opinion. But we do call out certain people. We call it certain things, certain fantasies, certain lies and stuff. I'm a little mix match and stuff. So it's not rude. I don't think it's personally attacking people. I don't think I haven't really been had videos made about me and stuff and my tactics and ways about going about exposing hoaxers or calling out certain people or groups because of bullshit that I smell. And I think that it's some of the comments and stuff about people who do their sort of thing, or we're rude, we're being mean, we shouldn't call out people who who are we to, judge their stories and stuff? It's because these people are presenting stories in the Bigfoot community and trying to be researchers and trying to show what little evidence or any evidence or a lot of evidence that they have. It is to be judged, because if we're going to live in the truth, reality, then it needs to be dissected. If we're going to live in fantasy, then anything that pops up can be accepted and tolerated. And you have whatever issues going on, and then you go out in the woods and we're supposed to believe it and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, drink the Kool-Aid. What do you expect? What do you think the outcome's going to be? 50 years of that. 50 years of, we tolerated a bunch of people who are lying to our faces because, maybe they have little mental issues. They live in fantasy world. Maybe they have no friends, social circles and stuff. This is their social circle. So when they get into it, they lie a little bit and then they become friends with everyone. And then it's like politics. And then you still have to believe the fantasy and the storytelling they keep giving you. I don't know what you should expect besides someone's lying to your face. I mean, that's what really gets me, is all this hoaxing, all this fabrication of stories. And then the excuses are, well, sometimes they're on their own journey and, you can't be mean, you can't judge and stuff. It's like, okay, well, Fantasyland's gonna, who's gonna win? You want truth? You want fantasy? Because it seems like this is what we're battling and stuff, and it comes down to even all the aspects, greedy con artists who just want to make a buck off you guys, who want to make merchandise, who want to buy, pay for all everything, When people say, oh, there's no money in all this, and you see all these shows glamorizing together to promote themselves and get viewerships and all this. And then there's a bunch of tug of war, back and forth politics. Well, who do you want to win? People trying to make a buck off you who don't care what kind of story they sell, what kind of stuff they promote on their channel, or the truth? The people who won't sell out, use Chat GPT, write stories, emails, Dixie Cryptid, just whatever. Doesn't matter if it's fantasy or reality. It's a good story. Wasn't he quoted on saying that? Isn't that kind of mentality? What's up, James? Caller, how's it going?
Howdy, I'm here.
You are. Nice to see you. We're gonna get started and stuff. I keep noticing my beard's a little out of whack and stuff. I forgot to brush it after I took a shower. I can't find my brush. Whatever, we don't care, When you're in the boxing ring and stuff, you get a little messy.
Saw that podcast you did. It was pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're doing a little conspiracy podcasts and stuff over on Rumble. And we'll probably put the link in that here after the show. But trying to stay on topic and stuff. We got some stuff to show, but I was watching a lot of shows. A lot of people calling out people and different opinions, different lines are drawn, and different feuds are going on that I had no idea about or no details about that I get looking into and stuff, because it seems like across the board, whatever is going on is bubbling up, and I think it really comes down to the truth versus fantasy. And there's a lot of different categories and placements in that of just people telling stories that are lying. People are trying to make money off viewers and trying to grow their channel. Content creators that are not truthful, that are just pulling fantasy. I think that it's coming down the line because we deal with stuff that you have to be honest about. You have to have integrity about for the evidence, for anything to really truly go forward in reality the way we really want to. It has to be truthful. So if we're getting nothing but fantasy and a bunch of people who are into this just to make friends and tell stories and camp out, everything's Bigfoot and this and that. I mean, no, we don't accept everything, because we're going to be flooded with muddy water, which we have already dealt with. But it seems like there's a lot of different opinions out there and stuff. So we're going to start showing the Squash Watchers. Hopefully we can get some other people in and stuff, because this is really about other people to join in. And or maybe no one would join in. I mean, who cares? I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If no one wants to speak their opinion, that's fine. I think a lot of people have watched a lot of shows and have seen a lot of stuff come out of people's mouths and have been typed into stuff. And a lot of people know a lot of things. And I think there's people who are two-faced, obviously, play lots of sides and stuff. That's why, when you get into this and you make friends and you start doing all this, you see a lot of different sides and personalities of people and reasons and motivations and goals. I've heard this before. Is the person wanted to make money and retire off Bigfoot. That was their goal. It didn't really seem like who he crossed, kind of people he cut off and stuff to meet that goal. Of course, those people never really do end up succeeding and stuff when you're acting like that in the long run. Karma does come catch up at you. And it seems like a lot of what I see around here, which is concerning, is more of the con artist mentality and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people, but it didn't work out for them.
No, it never does.
Usually it starts off well, and then people start to lose interest and walk away.
People who don't have integrity in this subject and people who are in it for themselves, usually burn a lot of bridges, and they start fabricating evidence, and they, like I used to
I wasn't just talking about like artists. I was talking about like other people I've heard of it from.
Oh no, I'm saying about other people too. Is they'll influence what happens in the expedition and stuff. It influences the development of any evidence, because if this person finds any evidence or is a part of it, it helps develop the outcome, because you have these people who are, leading you out there, and they're all filled with fantasy. They, whether it's real or not to them, they find evidence and you really believe it's evidence. You start hearing stuff of this person, and all it takes is this influence of, well, it really sounds like a Bigfoot. It could be a coyote, could be a fox, could be natural birds. The influence of this fantasy and stuff, it really warps the reality of the outcome of everything. It only takes one person and a group. I think we're seeing a lot of this pressure build up, and it's not just with the hoaxing, and it's not just with the people who just tell stories and con artists. It's everything. I think people are tired of being lied to, basically. They want the truth. And when we're dealing with people and in this subject, there's the truth, is the fine line. It cuts through a lot of bullshit. And a lot of people want to be all friends and, don't want drama. And, okay, well, that's not going to be the truth, because you have to tolerate and accept fantasy, lies. You have to accept lies to your face, even though you know that person is like, man, that story sounds like bullshit. He's my friend. You're promoting fantasy. You're tolerating fantasy. You're not calling it out. You're not helping anything. And if you're just doing it for a show, doing it for clicks, it's even worse. You're not, in my opinion, that's not doing anything. All right, so let me get some of these videos up. Talking about the Squash Watchers, of course, and their new thing. We're going to take a look. We're going to dissect exactly, because, no clickbait material from them at all. Nothing that would scream trying to cash in and make views and, make money. No, because remember from the interview, They're all about integrity, professionalism. They don't put out anything that isn't 100% backed by them, gone through, looked through, examined. You know, we're too hard on them. They're doing their best.
Integrity.
Yeah, that one guy said that they're one of the best that he's been with or met and talked to or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, let's see, because they keep putting out golden stuff. So let's take a look. And anyone can join. Click on the link. We can talk about whatever you guys want in the Speak Free community. It doesn't have to be about these videos. Maybe it's about something concerning you, about us, about different channels, about whatever. Bunch of comments last time. We had a bunch of people in the chat, bunch of comments a little bit afterwards, some trolls and stuff. Well, here it is, open for everyone, you know.
I don't think we're going to see much of that, but we'll see.
Why would that be? Why is that?
Probably after that one guy said he's done with it, done talking about it. Probably everyone's like, okay, we'll follow you.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. It's funny because when I called out, I didn't call out people. I just put a picture on the post and I posted it to the YouTube. And last week, I didn't even post it to my Facebook. I pasted this to only my personal Facebook page, my group page. The other one, I only pasted to Facebook, but, Mark from Beast TV, Sawdust Beast, or whatever the fuck, made a little post and called all the trolls to flood in and stuff. And it's interesting how, when you're that popular, you can do that like that. People listen. We had a bunch of people in the chat, because he made a post. But those same people get mad when you call them out or, flood their channel or whatever. They get all butthurt and upset because you hurt their feelings. And then they call to, do all these things to your channel. Instead of addressing the hoaxing or addressing the issue, just flood them in the comment sections in the chat. Okay. I mean, seems like that's a good defense, I guess, to do when you get called out on evidence that you could actually probably just show why it's wrong. End the debate. End the issue. Yeah, man, it's pretty simple. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. It's pretty simple and stuff,
I think we need to go up here and check some of our, recent haunts and check the hole in the wall, see if it's been any bigger. We can check the rock pile. Just kind of do, have something going on.
Rock pile.
So first thing we're going to check over here is the
see
rock
this
pile
big old rock pile.
Discovered maybe 3 or 4 months ago now at night. Nothing's changed with it. It's the same. We still got the busted up wood around here though. That's pretty cool to see.
Wow, that's a rock pile, wouldn't you say?
But we also have a second rock pile that we discovered a month ago, a few weeks ago, when we found the footprints in the mud. So we're gonna go check that too here in a little bit.
I want to change the configuration. Let us, manipulate it and see if that garners some kind of interest in with whatever left in here.
Okay.
Y'all agreeable on that?
I like that.
Right there in the parking lot.
What you think?
Right there in the cement.
I don't know.
Stuff under that.
Yeah, I'm gonna completely redo it. I gotta do it the way where we feel confident it's gonna stay.
Can I add something to it also?
Absolutely. Here.
No.
I just wanted to see if we can put.
Oh, there we go. Got it.
Like that.
Got to build the tower. What are they doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I got one more thing on the top. I got no sticks here.
There's my boy. You got rocking the fanny pack. The checkered emo fanny pack.
Oh, he's gonna spell hay to it.
Yeah.
Or help. Help or hay.
Right next to a farm, there's a rooster going on.
SOS. No. I know. Sticks almost.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, and it's flat on the ground. Nothing should really mess with it unless something actually physically comes up and touches it. And
All
deals
right,
with it.
back up. Let's leave this.
So yeah,
There we go.
hey,
What did I just watch?
You watched professional grade research being done.
I got it.
I
I'm surprised
mean,
I didn't say that
I
rooster
mean-
was a Bigfoot.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I didn't notice the sound when I recorded it, but like, I was like, I almost asked you, "Are you playing something?" Because I didn't recognize it, and then I was like, "Oh wait." Yeah. I am gonna brush my beard though. It is bothering me. It is just making me zone into it. So I'm gonna do that real quick. See if that helps my brain kind of focus. Because I keep looking right back at it. All right. Try it. We should do a little Hollywood makeup dressing room and stuff for our production quality shows that we do. Let's see what they did in the backstage. Backstage a little bit crooked still. It's good. It's fine. Not as messy, but as we seen there, the rock pile. I mean, when we have rock piles, man, it's like 20 by 20 rock piles, 20 foot by 20 foot radius, not
Yeah.
in the parking lot. Like it's right next to a farm. It's cement right there. No one's gonna mess with it. Pretty sure they actually said they found it. They found the rock pile already there. I don't know if you guys know this. You guys can go ahead and Google and look up the hobby or craft or little cool thing that it's called rock stacking on trails and next to riverbeds. And there's like a whole like mini culture about it and how you actually do it, and way better, cooler stuff than that. Like stuff that is balanced intricately. And we have come across this on some of the trails. And some of the people want to say, oh, investigate it as it's Bigfoot stuff and it's right on a trail and stuff. It's like, no, come on now. This is a known hobby people do. This is something that got started recently and stuff. And unless you can film with Sasquatch doing it, they put hay there and stuff. I would suspect someone would show up and just start writing back to them. And why not? But that's not the main thing, because they actually start flying the drone and have something interesting happen. So let's, of course, investigate it. Of course, let's put ourselves in this situation, shall we? Okay. What would we do? Okay. They're the professionals, right? All right. And this is the fantasy that's going on, I think. That rock, whatever they're doing right there is fantasy. What research? There's no research in that. There's nothing in that. A whole lot of nothing.
over there at that entrance towards the top of the cliff, and then into the woods. Yeah, we got a chance to get to it on foot, I think, without getting in water. I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. It was a weird sound. There it is again.
Yeah.
You hearing that, Taylor?
Yeah. Let the drone go over there.
Yeah. Fly it drone over so you can pick up anything.
Just over. So y'all hearing knots?
Yeah.
Over in this area?
A little bit to the right.
Over here?
Yeah, in that vicinity.
There is something.
In that angle.
You see something?
There's something black right here.
Oh, there is on that. Is that near the river?
Oh.
Look, that's.
I heard that. Did you hear that?
Yeah. That was long.
Look at that. It's foggy over there.
What is that? That's weird
You can hear the
sounding.
drone. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get back to the real reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me land there squat. Yeah.
All right.
He's about dead anyway.
What do you see, Toby?
A bigger track.
Oh, yep. And see, this is the spot right here where we found the prints right in front of you.
That's why I was wondering.
yeah.
It's like
Yep.
a slide.
So they had knocks and vocals happen, and they just ignored that and went back to tracking.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they cut up the video and stuff, so yeah. I mean, I can only presume they had vocals that sounded like the rooster, but it's not the rooster. They were just here, no problem, before, right?
Yeah.
But they see something on the drone, right? So
Yeah. It looked like it was
so
standing still, but
So they whatever. There's a bunch of black spots in there, but they start heading over that way, and let's just take it from them. You guys can go watch the whole video and stuff, and you're not really going to miss much. Yeah, Brent, if Brent, you want to jump on and stuff, jump into the ring and stuff, someone else might jump in and start going toe to toe with you, because you seem to be the subject of a lot of videos. A lot of people calling you out. They don't like what you're doing, don't like what your antics and stuff, which is a little bit different than what we do here, I guess. People don't like it and stuff, so this is open for anyone to come on. So just let everyone know and be ready and be prepared and be nice. Just be civil enough to keep it inside the ring, shall we? But this is seriously. We're gonna air out concerns and stuff. My personal thing is, I'm tired of liars. I don't care of the reason excuses. I don't care if you're your friends or if they have mental issues or if they have trauma or whatever the fuck. They're lying to your face, and it's acceptable because of whatever feelings, basically. And it's like, okay, well, how's that going to impact people who actually want to know the truth and have to go through a bunch of fantasy storytelling and fantasy role-playing people and people who want to, play researcher like these guys? Play researcher out there. Wow, I think
I weren't doing much.
50 more years, 60 more years of nothing. Finding Bigfoot seems like a reality the more we tolerate. I mean, that's my opinion. You might disagree, but I've kind of changed my opinion on some letting some people off lightly, or accepting in the end you can't tolerate anything because the truth doesn't care. If the truth kills it, let it die. And I love that quote. Sorry. All right, so let's take a look. What else they got?
We even know it? Yeah.
Yes, we're going.
They love those rocks. They love throwing rocks.
To me, it sounded like something over here mimics something we were doing. I'm coughing a lot right this minute because I am sick, but it's almost what I heard over here, right here at this ridge. And interesting.
Are you the one that put the emojis in the bottom?
Oh yeah, that's all me. That's all me. That's me, because I'm doing my own artist rendition, and we're covering this, doing a bunch of stuff. It's educational purposes. We're doing news related information, sharing the information, giving commentary, also First Amendment activity, and it's my artist rendition of this to play it on air, so it's a little bit more original and stuff. Helps with the back end of keeping it okay, even though it is by law okay to talk about and show video and play audio and do all this. Sometimes YouTube doesn't like that, so it helps so far. But depending on how wild this show goes, we'll see. But how's it going, World Bigfoot Central, which is Duke?
I think a feeling is when you think there's Bigfoot in the area.
Yeah, so they love picking up rocks and throwing it. Sometimes they mistake it their own rock throwing for Bigfoot. And We have an example here. I've showed it many times. We'll probably show it again. Maybe, should we? I don't know. Anyone new? They literally pick up a rock, throw it, film it, claim it's Bigfoot. Okay. Professional integrity. And either we tolerate it, accept it, believe it, or, we let the truth kill it because the truth is going to come out. And, maybe they totally believe that everything out there is Bigfoot, even though there was a rooster calling. And then they start hearing stuff, and then it sounds like the rooster calling again. But it's Bigfoot that time.
I heard knocks.
Yeah, you heard a knock. Or was it a gunshot? I got a message today about a dude around there who's actually trying to get a hold of. A couple weeks back, we showed a picture, a trail cam of the Squatch Archers interviewed this guy. He's actually trying to contact the guy who the picture belongs to and talk to me to see how actually real that actually is. So he actually sent me some stuff and said it was gunshots. He thought those were gunshots and stuff, all these knocking that we hear. So let's take a look at their exploration, and they've come across a structure. So let's take a look at what they point out and go about it.
Because everything's going different ways. And like this right here, I mean, this is stuff. This right here is stabbed in there and holds it up. That's not in the ground.
Yep, you're right.
See how it's
like the base of it.
It's woven to keep it in.
Yep.
There's that key word, woven.
Stumbled on some good stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Like it's all like this through here. Like there's all kinds of tree bends and tree structures everywhere through here.
Stuck this in
everywhere.
Yep. It's holding it. And then this is brought up this way through it. This one's brought in here. It's loose. There's no stump right here.
No.
This one's been broke over.
Yep.
But this one here, this one right here might not even been part of it. So this is barely this in. But that structure, like I say, that one up there and this one here.
Gotta love that structure game. It's all woven. Yeah, because when stuff falls down and it's straight, it falls into something else that's straight. And there's a leaner or something else adds to it. Hey, then they're like, there's no stump, there's no roots. They didn't even fucking check. Did you go down and start digging underneath the leaves? No. And then, everything's there's what, dozens of them out there? Just scan around and they claim there's dozens out there. I've played this game with people before. You want to spend hours, 100 hours out there looking at deadfall, looking at debris, looking at stuff that falls naturally on a windy day. There is a small percentage that I've come across that someone's bugged me finally and checked that it looks interesting enough that maybe it could be manipulation or possibly. But more often than not, 99% of the time when you walk up on something or someone's pointing out something, it is fantasy. You're believing what you want to see in the pile of twigs or branches or debris and stuff that have fallen. It's truly different when you have something that's the base of the sapling or tree is broken off and that is up in a tree or angled, or it's up in a tree somehow leaning the opposite way. Then you have some more interesting stuff. But for the most part, fantasy land, and you're believing your own bullshit. And a lot of people, it's easy to be able to do it. It don't take much. Just go out there and you walk 10 feet, you look around, you can probably find a structure. It's not hard. But is it the truth? Or is it fantasy? If you don't have integrity, you don't care about the truth, it doesn't matter. Everything's Bigfoot. You get the clicks, you get your views, you get the renown or whatever the heck, whatever. And then, you go on. And if you have a good face and smile and you're nice and stuff, well, then, you get a lot of people following you, and who cares? It doesn't matter if it's the truth. It doesn't matter if it's fantasy. He's a nice guy. He's a nice show, man. I really like being on the show. Okay, well, are you in it for the entertainment, or are you in it for the truth? Are you really trying to find Bigfoot, to find the truth, or is it just, whatever? I think that's the line. I think that's what, people need to start asking themselves, because what we're tolerating is what we're getting. That's why the Squatch Watchers have exploded, because this is what we're tolerating. Acceptable. And we're supposed to accept evidence from them when we keep showing that it's very lackluster. So let's keep showing more evidence, because they got more stuff to show us. One more thing. The most important thing of the whole video, besides the video of the drone, right?
Oh yeah, you can see them. Yeah.
We're just seeing Rex.
Yep. Where you see
come down the bank over there? Them big tracks from where it slid.
Right there.
Yeah, I see it now. Yep. Off the sandbar.
Yeah. Coming down.
That's interesting.
It's just different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it looks like toe marks or something in it. So
Yeah.
you can see the grooves.
That's something. Look at that. But yeah, that's a good find, Toby.
Swim over and look at it then.
I know.
I hear you. Is there anything down here on this? Side? Here, Tyler, go.
Wait a second. This is that spot. It looks like where that black thing was on the drone.
Is it?
It could be. Kinda.
It might be in this area.
It might be.
It's still wet looking.
Yeah.
If you look at it, I mean, it's not dried out sand. That's neat.
Everybody's gonna ask, why didn't you fly down to it? Because I ain't that good with the drone yet.
Well,
These guys are pretty smart.
Is it? Is it the spot? I don't know. Maybe it looks like it. I don't know. Some tricks, some tracks over there. Just right over there. Bigfoot. Isn't that what they applied? Isn't that what they did? They did their investigation, hardcore research, professionalism, and I mean, this is what we got. This is the whole video. No, what's the name of the video, right? I almost forgot that, because of course it's not clickbait, right? What is the name of the video? What's so important about all this stuff we just seen? Well, I mean, they're presenting it. They stand behind it, right? They only stand and vet all the stuff they put out, right? So this obviously would be vetted and to them, worth showing, worth viewing. And so what is it? It says drone captures video of possible Bigfoot moving along river. Now that's the main one, right? Where's the short one? Was the shorts, the video shorts, right? Because they have their main videos and you go over the shorts. And the shorts a little bit more catchy. What does that one say? It says drone catches 2 Bigfoot moving along river, beating on trees. I mean, I have it right here. You wanna, zoom in to right there on the left or the right, whatever. You can't read it, whatever.
Yeah.
So did we watch a video of a drone catching 2 Bigfoot moving along a river, beating on trees?
I don't think any of that was in there.
How could it not be? We just watched it. I just took all the bullets. I mean, if you want to watch the whole video and think I'm lying because I cut up the video to show on here, you guys want to waste? Go ahead. It's the only way I personally do it. It's the only way to vet real information, real evidence. And what I see is bullshit. Did we see that?
I didn't see nothing.
So on the one video, it's not as clickbaity. On the other video, it seems like they knew what they saw. They put it on there. Not one Bigfoot, two Bigfoot. It wasn't possible. It was definitely implied. But, you know, they gave that interview with the breaking news show, and it's like professionalism, integrity. These are the things that we all of us should strive for. I should see this. This is the type of evidence that that guy who interviewed him stands behind. This is the type of people they stand behind. Is it truth? Or is it fantasy? What is it? Well, what are we dealing with? What do you guys want to do? What side are you picking? You gonna allow this out? Well, you know, they kind of got some stuff that is, you know, it's a little funky, but you know, they have some stuff that's really cool. Is it fantasy or is it the truth? Are you know, or if they peddle nothing but mostly but fantasy, and once in a while they get a golden nugget, does that mean that they're 100% the truth? Does that mean that makes them credible because they got lucky with their golden nugget, and the rest of the time they're just peddling nothing but fantasy? Well, I mean,
They believe it.
Well, hey, you know, they got lucky once in a while, and that avoids everything else. Really? I think consistency of lying about stuff that happened without being able to, oh, well, you know, I wasn't able to record anything because, you know, I wasn't able to do this. Yeah, I hear a bunch of this. Oh, we were at camp, we heard a bunch of stuff, this and that, but I forgot to place the auto recorder out. This happened. It didn't, you know, whatever, which we've experienced, but like consistently almost every single time, or, you know, you have supposedly all night recorded with stuff happening, but you can only produce one small clip of something going off. All right. Hey, Sandra Piper, nice to see you and stuff. Hopefully, you know, that's gets itself worked out and stuff. But let's take a look at another example of someone just going to tell their Bigfoot story, and we're just going to let you guys decide whether or not it's real and stuff. And this is from our good friend Debbie Porch now, from the Sisters of the Moon and stuff, because there's, you know, we've kind of gone through some of the hoaxing she's been claimed to have done, and we kind of shown how it is pretty much it was. And there's even more stuff. There's more audio. The Buzzsaw audio is still out there, trying to find out. And there's more audio than stuff that I'm working on, that I'm got some lines out. So we'll figure out and see what becomes of them. But of course, this was in Debbie has gave a more recent interview. This was Camp Red Eyes from Beast TV channel, so you guys can watch the whole interview and watch what you want to watch and stuff, because there's more than just this little snippets that I've shown here. But I think this is a good example of what we get and what we're dealing with when it comes to the truth versus fantasy. When you're dealing with people, you know, you have a nice woman who's very friendly and friends with a lot of people, as we seen in the last show when Mark told everyone to flood in to defend her by just, I don't know, trolling. Really, it wasn't really anything of, there wasn't anything of discussion or anything that brought value to the discussion or the show on their end. You know, they just wanted to put the blinders on and not accept anything, and that was it. So they already came in with blindfolds on. And I do have a screenshot of Mark actually posting the show and saying it. So for people who say, "Oh, I don't believe you," people, you know, who've seen it do and know. But these people get upset, you know, when, you know, God forbid you do that to them. Show up in a show with a bunch of people calling them out. Oh man. So let's just hear a story from Debbie and stuff. This is more recent one. This is from the Camp Red Eyes, and so this is not as old.
How recent is it?
I think I'll make sure. This is probably year, 2020,
Okay.
2020 and above, I'm sure. Always gotta. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, this was like a year ago and stuff. But let's take a listen to this. I'll find out the details after we're done. And I believe this should be in order. All right.
So while I'm at the table, Patty says, "Hey, I see yellow eyes." And they were in the woods directly across from us on the other side of the campfire. And so I stepped over closer to where she was, and she said, "Do you see them?" And I said, "No." And she said, "They were moving to the right." Well, to the right was where my truck was parked, and I couldn't see them. She said, they just went behind your truck. And so I'm thinking, okay, that's where the road is, the dirt road that we were, come in on. I said, if they went that way, then it's probably fixing to go across the street. And so I walked out more to the center to where I could see better. And I turned to my right towards the street and looked across where it was all wooded across over there. And when I did, I didn't see yellow eyes, but I saw two big red eyes. And I mean, they were clear as day. Now, there was no campfire at all to speak of because everything was so wet from the night before. We could not get a campfire going. There might have been a little bitty flame, but it was also further back behind me a good ways. And I was still a good distance from the road. And the eyes that I saw were pretty far in this, area across the street from us, across the road from us. And I wasn't sure how wooded that was. I couldn't, remember if it was very heavily wooded or what. Now, this was probably, I think it was the end of January. And so there weren't a whole lot of leaves on the trees. But as I'm seeing these red eyes, the only thing I can see are two red eyes. I can't make out any shape or anything. It was pitch black over there.
All right, so let's just give her a chance. She's going to get into the story in a little bit. Just hold on the opinions and stuff. But this interview was given 3 months ago, so I'm not sure if she was talking about January of 2023 or 2022 or whatever, but more recent than some of the hoaxing and stuff that we showed and stuff. This is obviously more recent events that has transpired and it's important and stuff. So let's just hear everything. And it's Camp Red Eyes is what the interview is called. If you guys want to do all that watching and stuff.
The only thing I can see are two red eyes. I can't make out any shape or anything. It was pitch black over there. And there was no fire to speak of. Nothing else out there. There's no street lights, nothing. So they weren't reflecting. And I have to admit that I've never experienced anything like that to where I know for a fact that they were glowing and not reflecting. Every other time I've seen any kind of eye shine, there's always been some sort of lights or a fire, usually a big fire, or our twinkle lights. And this time there was neither. And so these eyes were glowing. And that actually unnerved me a little bit because I'm not used to that. I've always thought maybe it was just eye shine. But these were glowing. And when I see them, they're way up there. But as soon as I see them, I tell Patty, I said, "Patty, I see red eyes." She walks over closer to me. And as she's starting to walk to me, these eyes that are staring straight at me from pretty high up, they immediately drop straight down. They're staring straight at me. They never blink. They never look away from me, but they drop straight down.
So just get into it and stuff, so quite the experience and stuff, right? Went from someone seeing yellow eyes to when she walked over there, now they're red eyes. That's a neat trick. Let's take a look. We got 2 more of these, and then I think this is really when you guys can really judge for yourself.
Immediately drop straight down. They're staring straight at me. They never blink. They never look away from me, but they drop straight down to what I guess was the ground. And now they're running, or moving at least, towards me. And I start backing up, and I said, it's coming this way. And she's coming towards me because she had been over closer to where our tree line in camp was. And so she's coming over towards me. Y'all, this thing moves so fast. And I've heard people talk about how fast they are, but I've never seen anything move as fast as these eyes were. And so they're coming towards me, and I think it's fixing to cross the street, but all of a sudden they start moving to my left at an angle. And the thing is, you know, it's nighttime. Whatever this was, I'm thinking they're not looking to see where they're going because their eyes never came off of me. And I gotta admit, it really shook me up a little bit because I'm backing up because I'm not sure if it's fixing to come across the street. But as it's moving at an angle, it's still going faster than anything I've ever seen. And all of this takes place in just a matter of seconds. But it disappears back over behind my truck somewhere. And I don't know if it's come across the street and it's coming into this wood line that's across from us, where she had originally seen the yellow eyes. I don't know where this thing is. I've backed up because now I'm thinking, crap, I don't have my gun on me because I'd been cooking. But the thing that unnerved me the most was how fast and smooth this thing was. And it wasn't having to go over things. There were trees down on the ground across the street from us. And the next morning when I went over there and looked, it was about a foot, at least a foot or so lower than the road line, maybe even more. And for this thing to have been going as smooth as it was across there, no bouncing or anything like when anybody or anything runs, it was almost like it was floating, but it was going so fast that it was just zip. And anyway, we decided to go into our tent pretty quickly after that.
Anyway, it gets better.
It can't get better.
Oh, come on now. I wouldn't be showing you this if it doesn't get better. It gets better. Now, of course, you know, the Sisters of the Moon at this time, well, where's the recorders? Well,
Where's
you
the
know,
pictures?
Where's you got multiple recorders with Debbie. She has a couple recorders at H1 Zoom, at least. With some other ones, she has night visions there, thermals there too, you know, and there's multiple people, you know, things are going on. Well, what's going on? How come there's no evidence, right? Let's get an explanation, of course, and let's hear from Debbie herself.
And anyway, we decided to go into our tent pretty quickly after that. And we're laying on our blow-up mattress. And the night before, because it had been so cold and rainy, the vent that's at the bottom of the tent, we were freezing from the air that was coming in that. And so we had put a big plastic tub behind the head of our blow-up mattress to help block that wind from coming in. And so the tub came up almost even with the top of our blow-up mattress. And I want to say too, that night that all of this was taking place, every single bit of my equipment, it didn't matter what I had. My headlamps, I went through 3 headlamps. Now, we always fully charge all of our equipment, everything. And from the first night to this night, almost all of our equipment had died within just a very quick time. And usually they'll last pretty much the whole time we're there. And so my 3rd headlamp had gone kaput, and a lot of our other stuff, our night vision and our FLIR, both went, everything was drained. That's something else that I've never had happen before. And so we're laying there on the bed talking about this and how weird all of this is, how this is stuff we haven't experienced, to this magnitude. And while we're laying there talking, I want to note too, the twinkle lights on her side were still on, but the twinkle lights on my side had died as well. Brand new batteries, but the twinkle lights on my side had died. Hers were still going. And so her side was lit up. But as we're laying there talking, just boom, as quickly as you could imagine, something knocked the hell out of the tent wall right behind our heads. And I sat straight up in bed, said a few choice words. And the next thing we know, Patty said she saw a shadow just come down her side, but went right back. And it didn't go all the way down the tent. It just like stepped in front of the light and almost like it realized it was casting a shadow, went back. And immediately the next thing we know, this thing is going behind those twinkle lights, crashing through the trees and the shrubbery and the branches. And they're sticker bushes with huge thorns on both sides. I mean, thick as thieves. And this thing is crashing through all of that. We're listening. We can hear it moving, and it stops when it gets to the front right corner of our tent. So now I'm still sitting up in bed all of a sudden. She's laying there, and I'm thinking, what in the world? And the next thing we know, instead of it running... Oh, I'm sorry.
Whenever you said it hit the tent, you forgot the part that it smacked the container that y'all had sitting there.
Yeah, that's what scared me.
And you keep saying street like you're in downtown Little Rock.
Oops. Of course, it was cold outside, so everything got drained magically right before all this happened. Of course, we have another instant of the tent got smacked. Debbie has audio. I've actually noticed that in the one symposium, I'm pretty sure they play audio of a tent get smacked, and to me it sounds different and stuff. Now I don't have this example referenced brought up today, but it's interesting. Now this comment in the chat is very interesting. This comes from Media Palace, who has exposed other people and stuff and some shenanigans and stuff. So let's see what he says. This is very interesting from Media Palace. Debbie wanted to hire me to build a BigFoot dating app for her to monetize. Strung me around for months, wasting my time before she told me she was an unemployed broke gal. That is interesting. New information. I've never heard that. I don't know how many of you guys have heard this information. Let's leave this up for a little bit, because I think this is a good idea. Intriguing.
I'm surprised no one's done it yet.
Ching, ching, ching. See, that's what it's all about, though. It's not about family over there and stuff. It's about dating and stuff. And trust me, that as much as it'd be funny and stuff to have a BigFoot dating app and people would be making money, I'm sure your choice selections of the dating app would probably look like a Bigfoot and stuff. just messing around. But seriously, though, come on. It's all about making money and stuff. That's why over there and stuff, it's really it's calm, nice, and slow. All, you have
weird like
Mark on there. Mark
I like
on
how
there.
He knew
you got Larry, or it's his teeth hanging out. And then you get Bama on there. And I tell you what, it's all like a class act. And you got to slow down everything to really, work the audience to feel good and feel comfortable, feel like family. And
weird how he
believe everything.
He forgot that part in there.
Even though it's about making money and donations. That's a key word, is donate and making that money to donate. And then when we get equipment, all we really do is stay at camp and we just try to film, and we find tracks that just magically appear right there by camp with 30 people and Miss Dabby and some other questionable people like Spencer. Spencer, part of the group. He got him on my radar. He was in the chat last time. He's not here now making a fuss. He's allowed to join. I'm actually wanting to question him on his audio that Mark posted about. Spencer didn't even mention it or talk about it or post about it, and I can't find any other video posts or anything on YouTube or any other discussion of it ever mentioned again, although I have maybe one or two more interviews to watch where maybe Spencer possibly showed up or is there. But for such a finding of possible Bigfoot, one random Facebook post that Spencer doesn't even comment on, even though Mark says it's Spencer's audio. This introduction of Spencer, it's like, okay, no mention of it ever again. The person who has the audio doesn't answer any questions.
Oh, that guy, Spencer Jameson.
Yeah, it's like, okay. It's like,
yeah, he was saying a lot of crap in your chat.
He was. I got some questions for him. I got some questions about his evidence. Does he remember it? Also, I got some questions about his foot tracks, but that's not this episode. He found some two random tracks at the very edge of a water line, and of course, to me, it looks like he made one little print and then he dig out the little toes. That's my opinion. Of course, they just disappeared. But he came on my radar, not because he actually was in the chat, but because of evidence, looking at evidence and stuff. Supposedly, this comes from him. Oh, he's in the chat. Oh, okay, well. And, he's been to some of these camp outs, and he did interview, his first interview or second interview or whatever of them. Their introduction of him is he's a survivalist, a hobbyist, or whatever. He's been to school, taught some, whatever. Presented as a knowledgeable person. When he talks about going off trail with two people who go, and he says they go like right off trail like Aboriginal people, and he's kind of bewildered. Well, Mr. Survival Man, why would that be a bewilderment to you if you're knowledgeable and experienced of surviving out in the wilderness and practicing what you preach? Why, in the interview, do you look like, and you even talked about in the story, that you were caught off guard? But it's not no problem. It wasn't a problem, of course. It just, these people present themselves as characters. Is it the truth or is it fantasy? It's fantasy versus reality. Truth versus fantasy, deception, lies, delusion. And of course, these people will tell you it. Of course, you go on a camp out, and he's a really nice guy. He's really good. No way. There's no way he would start off by hoaxing stuff. He's a really cool guy. We've had several camp outs and stuff. Huh? What do you okay? Are you going to accept that he lied to your face a couple times, but then, a couple times he's been telling the truth? What do you think the future of that is going to be? What do you think the future of his evidence and all this, Come on now. If the truth kills it, let it die. And some people have friendships, some people, it's whatever. They're all going to have to deal with it one way or another eventually. It's going to come to a head where the fantasy becomes so overwhelming that people will either have to blindly look away to accept it, accept the nonsense, to tolerate it because of politics, let's just say. Whatever reason. There's multiple reasons. Some people don't speak out because if you speak out against the wrong channel, they have 30,000 plus subscribers, and they'll tell all those subscribers to, flood your channel or to, do this and get you in trouble, or they'll just, make no one watch you anymore. And people are afraid to speak out. I think a lot of people are afraid to speak out because of that, honestly. So of course, Debbie. Let's get back to Debbie. Debbie, everything got wiped. Thermal, night vision, all everything. Can't record it. But in the beginning, I was going to show this clip. I actually kind of regret I'm not going to show it, but that was the second night. The first night, they have a bunch of cow mooing and stuff, and the recorders were going and stuff because she actually says that they were going all night and stuff and blah, blah, blah. So we'll actually take a look and hear another little discussion about that.
Whatever's making the moo sound, do y'all think it's trying to mimic a cow, or do you think it's a vocalization that whatever this is making naturally?
I think it's just trying to disguise what it is. It knows that people are familiar with a moo, and they won't pay it much attention. They just think it's a cow out there, and they can sneak on up in the camp. Because the first time we heard them up there, they were everywhere, mooing like a herd of cows.
Yeah.
But when we were there that first time that I talked about earlier, we noticed that as it got closer to us, it sounded more like tones, and it would be more like that. That's how they kind of sounded.
That's how I sound when I'm constipated.
Where is it? Where's all this audio? I don't know. Now, on the first night, they claim all this cow stuff was happening, and Debbie says the audio recorder was going, and she gets descripted. I guess I should have played it. Maybe I didn't mark the time. Maybe I should have, because we could have looked at it, but it's just more bullshit. Where's the audio? Where's the evidence? Because they get all this evidence, and then, what? Never gets posted. I guess maybe I should look harder. I guess I will. I'll try to find it. But you got to believe it. Because, they're nice. They're out there. They're trying. They wouldn't lie.
They don't know technology.
Maybe it is got cows out there and they don't really know. I mean, I would believe that. I would believe it, especially if they have audio and you're like, yeah, we start hearing stuff, but it's really cows. But to me, it's like Debbie or some people in there are able to influence others, and like this is what happened because Debbie walked over there and like maybe someone seen a glint of light or yellow or something, and then all of a sudden Debbie's out there and has this magical thing happen. And if it's only Debbie talking and telling all the stories and all the details, and most of the stuff always happened to her, and like, well, too cold, nothing really happened. And this is a good point too. This is pretty much it, because they're my friend, my tribe. You put the blinders on and you won't look. You're not going to look at what everyone else is presenting and stuff. Like, it's the truth. I don't, it was obvious. We still have some videos. Like, it was obvious. She was playing Kayla Oates, whatever, audio. And she's saying that's me saying that. She's turned to her other sister and said, I told Henry that. Oh, did you hear that? Are you so delusional you don't know what happened during the encounter or all this? No, it's fake. It's bullshit. She played Ron Moorhead's stuff. It's the exact match. Just because Ron Moorhead doesn't want to, have drama and stuff and says no big deal doesn't mean that it's not the exact same audio and you didn't present it as yourself. Just because he's cool with it. Just because, he said, no, it's fine. It's cool. But we're supposed to believe all this other stuff. And, you could look at Beast TV and all their Sawdust, Beast TV or whatever the frick. You look at their evidence and stuff, and most of it sounds like coyotes. So the link is in chat for anyone to join in. Yeah, come on. It's supposed to be free for all. No, everyone's kind of, everyone can say whatever they want. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be afraid like you're going to get attacked. Your opinion is welcome and stuff. Obviously, there's some concerns out there. I think, what we think about the future of research and stuff and dealing with all this crap and people and, acceptance and feelings. And it's like, okay, well, people are on their journeys, and we have people who are, say it's a little bit slower for whatever reason, born that way or have injury. And, they're out there doing their thing. They're just out there doing their thing, just let them, it's fine and stuff. And then they come on and they tell you these stories and you believe them and stuff. You're supposed to believe them, supposed to accept the evidence and stuff. Just let them float the boat out there. I mean, in some way, I guess, yeah, that's acceptable. But in other ways, you're tolerating false reality, allowing it to be passed as truth when it's on your show, or question it. Well, that's CW. He's, of course, he's out there seeing whatever. C. Wayne's out there seeing Bigfoot come back with a Big Mac and French fries in the woods. I've had him on here and stuff, interviewed him and stuff, talked about him and stuff, but, to investigate, the mindset of, and it's people out there believing stuff. Doesn't make it real. It's fantasy. And he's a good guy. He's a great guy and stuff. He's my friend on Facebook. He makes bomb-ass food all the time. He's a really nice guy. But at the same time, everything that he comes with pretty much research is fantasy and stuff. And his photos, some of his photos have actually, been famous. Got some famous, photographs of Dogman and stuff like that. But you see how, like, you go to the source and it's like, okay, it's fantasy. But that photo that floats around online has generated so much interesting content, storytelling. It's been associated with other people. It's been associated with other stories. Been associated, it creates a whole dynamic and development of just, it's fantasy. It's not the truth. People are looking into it to try to just, find evidence, details, and they're listening to this story with that photo, and it's like, oh yeah, they jot it down, they map it out on wherever state it's at, and now it's that person is using that data of telling other people about it. And when the long run, when we discover stuff, Bigfoot's discovered, scientists get in play, and we start figuring out the truth in fantasy, because the real game begins, the real studies begin. And we're, people are going to find out of what was reality, what was fantasy. I think more and more, if we actually did discover Bigfoot, it would expose a lot more people, because, they're not dealing with anything. All right, so we got Mr. Brent Dill joining us. He's been
what's up?
He's been flaming hot, it seems like, on a lot of people's shows and chats. And
yeah, I'm renting a lot of headspace in people's, free written people's head, I guess. So
a little bit, it seems like.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
you're all good.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't care about it. It's people upset about whatever, who just don't like, things being said that we say. And well, we have every right to say it, as long as it's not like, personal attacks or something that just isn't true, which, geez, I wonder who does that. But yeah, as long as it's something like that, we should be able to have open dialogue about people's evidence that they're presenting to the public. And if there's evidence to show that something happened where they stole someone else's content or hoaxing or whatever.
Hey, Nikki.
You're following me.
Mm-hmm. No, I just didn't get on fast enough.
I broke my wire here. So it took me a little longer.
What's up? What's going? I don't even have everything ready.
I've seen you moving around and stuff.
Hello?
I was like, I should have left her out a little bit. Yeah, we hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff boiling to the surface, and there's a lot of commotion and stuff that, Brent's not involved in, although he's involved in a lot of commotion, it seems like. There's other, fires going around, and I really think it is truth versus fantasy, and people are dealing with it in their own ways, dealing with con artists, people who have used them. A lot of people have used each other to grow their own content and channels, and it's all about the money.
Yeah. I mean, the con artists and stuff should definitely be called out, but the people that are living in the fantasy and really kind of not doing much harm in it, as far as it's not really their evidence, and their influence isn't reaching outside of their little circle that they have that watches them and supports them and stuff. As long as it doesn't reach out past that, and it's like, nobody's getting hurt, I don't really see kind of a problem with it, unless it's like blatant and it's like disrespectfully blatant, obviously, then it's like, yeah, you should probably say something about that. So, because people who are, that we shouldn't really be bothered doesn't do things like that, where they create a conflict for themselves, where they did something very, deceiving and stuff.
I think the people that are dealing with fantasy, for whatever reason, it's lying. For whatever reason, you have whatever excuses. Some people do have their own mental issues, and some people are,
that's
far from that.
Yeah,
but
that's a tough one.
Lying and stuff. So, like I gave an example of, they made their pictures, video get taken, and other people see it and do stories and misrepresented it. It might affect the long run of.
Yeah, but I think some people out there really do believe what their journey is, what they present, what they see in those shadows and stuff. I think a lot of people do believe that, like a lot do, more than we probably realize. We might see it as like, well, these guys aren't being very honest, being deceitful and stuff. And that's, I think, is the important thing, is try to recognize the difference of people that really should be discussed, because you're not going to change those people. And you see how embedded, the people who want to keep that fantasy going, how much what they'll do to protect it. And it's like something that's, really kind of need to get involved in, again, unless there's something blatant about it. But that's why, I think the big focus should be on the people who do influence the subject, that like the people that, we talk, that you were just mentioning and stuff. It's like a lot of those people don't have any influence or anything outside of the circle that watches them, that little thing right there. So it's like, I just kind of let them have it, because it's not really worth time trying to go say, hey, no, this is what's kind of going on here. I think you should go more for the people who are more influential and harder to talk about, more.
No, we just lost you there. Yeah, whatever happened.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I think bigger fish need to be fried. And,
and it's just identifying those big fish and how best to go about it to minimize, blowback and issues and stuff like that. Because, these are discussions that we have every right to discuss, like people hoaxing, and especially if there's evidence for it, we have every right. And the fact that people want to try and get our channels shut down and threaten us and do all type of things, it's like, wow, that's going far beyond what we've ever done, and what what the situation calls for. Because it's like, if somebody's presenting something to the public, posting on YouTube, that's fair game. Yeah. So it's just, people need to learn how to either vet their evidence out, so they will present something that's less less easily debunked, or it's one of those things.
Joe, Brent can take care of himself. He's a big boy, okay? He doesn't need me or anybody else to back him up, and he's been doing what he's been doing for a really long time. He told me a year ago that he wanted to leave my channel so that I wouldn't get any blowback from anything he'd say. I'm the one that
Yep.
kept him hanging on, coming and doing shows.
I'm
It
like, are you
had,
sure?
it was not, it, that was my choice because I believed in what he was doing because I felt the same way. Because I'm not basing it off of, I'm looking at what he's showing, the evidence, the receipts, and basing my own decision on that. And if there's something I don't agree, I tell him. That doesn't mean I hate him or he's going to do things to me or say things to me or whatever. I'm a freaking grown up. He's a grown up. We can have a disagreement without getting on each other's asses,
Yeah, it's communication.
which is
kind of what
ridiculous.
it's all about.
And I'll be the first to say that I've had disagreements with Lockbeard, but I don't wish him ill will or call him names or, attack him that way. I just blocked him and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it all stems down to how you want to react about this stuff. And the thing is this is freaking Bigfoot. This isn't my life, that I have every day. This is supposed to be the fun stuff for me. This is my hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's not
for
my
real.
life. I don't make a living off of this. So it's just so weird that it got to that point,
Well, I think it's because of our overseas friend escalated it to the point where anything up to what he does is acceptable. And, people toe that line and they're going to have to continue to toe it because it's not like that they could put Pandora back in its box. They showed what their, talk about it, I guess, showed what their true colors are and just keep giving them the rope because they look incredibly stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like with that video Randy made about me, it's like, wow, okay, that's crazy.
I just saw that. I didn't even know it had happened until, I
yeah,
didn't even know.
I had somebody send it to me and stuff, and I didn't watch it. I just read the transcript on it, and it's like, geez, is there? It seems like he's just mad at.
Well, I keep waiting for somebody to come up with some real facts or something, but that's not what's happening. And
seems like feelings are being hurt.
Yeah, they are.
Well, that's the whole thing with Randy. It's like I hurt his feelings, really. If you want to be honest, I hurt his feelings because I used the word beg. That took his masculinity away from him, his research or whatever. Took a hit out of his ego. So that was his response. Literally, that was his response. It's like, whoa.
Well, with other people, more specifically, I keep hearing, you're hurting feelings and stuff, and like, if to me, everyone has their own opinion, but the Bigfoot community and stuff, I think if we're going to get anywhere, it has to be, you have to take this seriously in some ways. I mean, either we live in fantasy land or, we respect the truth. And I think people, can be friends with people and then not believe their stories. But at the same time, it's like, I think if you just turn a cheek to this fantasy, this is what people are dealing with. And people are upset because, you're being mean, instead of like looking at evidence and looking objectively at the truth of like, okay, maybe people did take stuff and hoax this thing and he is lying about this. And if you want to accept someone lying to your face about a story, even though it's just Bigfoot, that's fine. But if once they do it once, don't you think they're going to keep doing it? To me, I think it's unacceptable. Even if people have issues and stuff, it should be acknowledged that maybe, this guy's slow and stuff. But at the same time, it's like,
it's blatant. Yeah, it's
it's just like, come on, man. It's all good because he has issues, or it's all good because other people are in their journey.
Well,
there's a lot of different, avenues and stuff. It's not just one little thing or just one.
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Well, and
I think
people were also, misleading others about, it being resolved, and it really wasn't, and speaking for other people when they, didn't say that, So yeah, there's more to come out with that one.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I'm gonna do one more, and hopefully I don't have to deal with that crowd anymore. And because man, it's like it's weird. It's weird. It's like very childish, like very emotional. Like you said, it's emotional. Like everything that there's no evidence. There's zero evidence. It's all emotional projection. It'd be great. Like Randy attempted to give evidence, but I provided counter evidence to be like, yeah, dude, I don't know about that. But until there's like evidence, it's like, I don't know, nothing much you can really do.
well, I mean, you allow the fantasy to continue to happen. I think more people are going to get, their feelings involved with fantasy, and fantasy and these feelings are easily shattered by the truth, and people just don't want to accept that, and they don't want to see their tribe being dismantled because of lies being exposed.
It's your friend,
For whatever reason, they're making money, they're
it's
con artists, they're using people. I've heard a lot of stories of other people using channels, kicking people out and doing this just for subscribers. And
oh yeah.
Just wait till they're done with you.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That's what I'm kind of waiting for now, letting everything die down and watch the implosion. Got my popcorn already.
Because I've heard different people say, Dixie Cryptid, he does stories. And he was quoted saying, it doesn't matter if it's fantasy or reality or real or not. It's a good story. It's not about the truth. It's not, it's entertainment. And for me, I'm for the truth about finding Bigfoot, the study of Bigfoot. I am very passionate about this. And
yeah, it's one of those pick your battles things. Kind of things too.
I'm more and more. It's like people are tolerating so much bull crap and so much fantasy, and it's disgusting in a way because this is why we're laughed at, because it's a joke. There's hardly anyone really doing it. There's no one calling out any of the bullshit. So like, it'd be like scientists inventing theories and there's everyone letting them fly and no one's checking anything. No one's verifying anything. Oh, you got a new hypothesis theory on blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all good. Not... You're my buddy. Your feelings matter. No verification. Yeah. No professionalism. We're just wild west in here.
I don't see it changing. It's going to keep on the way it is because there's always going to be a difference of opinion. This is my opinion, that's your opinion, and yours is wrong and mine is right, and that's
it's all how we respond to those opinions too. Are we going to take it to another level that's like to the point where you're now making threats and stuff? It's like shit. Like,
I'm pretty shocked by that too.
I'm not. There's the people. People are people, and people you push them, or sometimes this is all they have, or whatever reason. I think that dog.
I think it is, man.
Social justice warrior, hero.
No,
he deemed himself.
Yeah, well, he's just looking for a community, and he's got that victim mentality where, he's the victim and he's going to go be the hero, and he's like. How he talks about how he gets inserted into the wars. It's like nobody inserted you. You inserted yourself and stuff. Yeah, he's the hero.
Everywhere though. He's inserted himself all over.
Yeah,
the paranormal side, PRT, the blondes and the booze and the I don't know, tons.
This is all he has.
Torch text, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's all he has. Look, he does this all day. He's either in someone's chat or making his videos or whatever. That's all he has is his channel and that little community. And, they're using him right now because he's doing what they can't do, which is like stand up and like fight or something in their perceived fight, when he's just
they can't fight ugly.
Make them look
that'll make them look bad. So use this guy to do it, who's happy to do it because now he's included.
Yeah, until they don't need him anymore, till things slow down and or calm down. And then, there's going to be that little... It's when it's going to happen at that point. And but it is interesting. So I'm curious. So with that thread, is that like I was going to message her and be like, hey, is this something that a serious thing, or like should I like what, what's that all about?
Do I need to be worried?
Yeah, yeah.
You
Do
know,
I need to
do
get
I
like
need to
law
be worried
enforcement?
for reals?
Do I need to get law
No,
enforcement
these
involved
people,
with this?
these
You know?
this is
I'm
this
like,
is reality. Most of these people hardly get off the couch to go out in the woods and look for Bigfoot. They're not going to go travel to your house and do anything. And if they ever did,
no,
oh,
it's
there's
not them.
one
No,
person there's one person I thought might do that though.
no, it's not them themselves. They know people, and so that's the thing. It's like they know people, so it's like, that's quite the threat, and making it so it's like, oh, I really know people who can do something. It's like, damn, I got like kids here and shit. So it's like,
I know.
should I take this serious? Should I escalate this to the point where show you how ridiculous this is, to the point where this is how it is, going to threaten to take my channel down and all that. Very disappointing. So yeah, I'm going to I don't know what this perceived what this a threat is. So
threaten to take your channel down, and it's like that's all they can do.
No, this was a threat.
I'm not sure who you guys are talking about, or
that
I guess
completely was a physical.
Was that from
threat
Vault Keeper? Because I know.
Oh no, this is from Moggs and Stevie B. They were having a show, and Lockbeard did a little short on it, showing what they were saying, and it was like, damn, that's pretty threatening. I can. Yeah,
I did watch it. I remember them talking about reporting channels, but maybe I
it's about, I guess, talk about knowing people and how they know people and can do that whole thing. It's like, oh, what's that mean? Like, where are we taking this at?
Taking it way.
Well, it's so ridiculous. Did we ever say anything like that? Have we ever?
No, I love Stevie. I've always loved them. Okay. I never had any beef with them. Now, I have gone on to Moggs to defend myself for my show when he's, because I have always known that Moggs hasn't liked my show or liked the way my show goes and what I do. I've always known that. That's fine. He left me alone. I left him alone. I still would go on to his show. It was fine, but he doesn't like attacking anybody or showing anybody in the wrong. And I had to defend myself about that. And then Brent's had to go on there and defend himself, on things he says without thinking that we're not going to defend ourselves on that. But I hadn't had any issues since then. For me, I hadn't really until the whole mess with Judy. And I'm so confused how all that happened. I really am, because Marty made a comment about something happening in March. What happened in March? Because Judy was still texting me in June. She was texting me all the time about, she moved to her new house. I was so happy for her. What happened? Other than she got so mad because of Vault. That was the only thing I could think of.
That's the only thing I can think of either. It was this chat right here. The chat down below here actually is where she attacked me at.
Chat. We didn't even. I came in. I said hi. I wasn't home, so I wasn't in the chat actively that night. I was listening. But I read that whole chat twice, and there was nothing. She was in that chat all through that whole thing, and there was nothing there that would substantiate an attack or anything. Only one part, something about you guys being friends. There was one little part. Either you asked, are we friends? Or she asked, are we friends?
I think it was me. I'm like, because I thought we were. So I'm like, so are we friends still or what? Because I was like, just so confused.
And it's very confusing the way you read it, though. So that was the only thing I could think. If you read it from top to bottom, then it's, you get the context. But for some reason, that's the only part that I can think is that you were saying you weren't her friend. But through that whole conversation, she kept saying how people weren't going and liking her videos. she kept saying, I've put all the links out there and nobody comes and likes my videos or comments
I
on
didn't
my
see
videos.
that.
Yeah, if you go back, I've saved it just in case anything happened. But I know, Blake's not going to get rid of his chats. But I saved them,
Nope.
and they are. If you look at it all in order, I started screenshotting them 3 times, I think she says. Nobody goes and looks at my videos or my evidence. She very, very much wants people to look at what she's got. And I think, who was she talking to about? Well, everybody, go look. I just posted this, I posted that, go look, and nobody's liking. And she said it a lot through that whole chat. She says that. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that maybe she thought she was being ignored. I don't know.
I don't know. I
You
asked
were
multiple
talking to her
times.
Bad
through
issues with
almost all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice to hear, versus just being accused of something. It'd be nice to see it for ourselves. But I think
Does
it's just really a
anybody have
perceived.
the chat from Vault still? Has that disappeared?
I could look. I don't think I saved anything from that.
I
Maybe a
don't think I
screenshot
did
of like.
either. But I never thought I didn't know his whole channel was just gonna,
Yeah.
take off. So I never thought of saving any of that.
Yeah.
I never do till it's too late. And
Yeah.
I've heard Moggs, say some shit and some stuff, and it's turn me away and stuff. But that's just kind of a hangout show, anyways. It's not.
Yeah, it's not something that.
It's a good chance. It's a good name that maybe someone else deserves was actually out there doing it. But no.
Well, no, he's not a researcher or anything. He's just he's got a hangout spot, and that's what I always like. I don't go there for Bigfoot evidence or anything. If you want to hear a good story, go hang out with
it's
friends.
just a gathering. It's a nice gathering.
Yeah, it's a gathering place.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It was just a place to go hang out and chill and laugh and I enjoyed going on there all the time, and I'm gonna miss going on there because they were my friends. Now I don't feel like I'm their friends. That's the only part to me that's gotten to me. Is that my dog?
It's not.
I don't have a dog.
No, it's not
my
mine.
dog. It's my dog. Shut up. Well, these new headphones work really well.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. There's a lot of crap going on, and people talking about stuff when they're not really in the Bigfoot world, and like their opinions.
And I didn't even know her husband had died. I mean,
I didn't know she was
I
married.
think right at that time, that's when my cousin died. So I was grieving my own loss and trying to get to Arizona. And I think I found out when I got back is when I found out. So I wasn't even around. I was busy with my own shit. So
I think what it is our friend from overseas there, he needed something and he found that and he used it, and Judy went to him having somebody that will listen to her,
defend her.
Defend her. Yeah. So
that's what it is.
She's using. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so he's I don't know I don't watch his videos, but from what I hear, it's like there's zero evidence and it's just all kind of like shit talking and like, oh, you did this and this. It's like, no, I didn't. It's like stupid stuff.
It never shows his face and stuff. I've never seen his videos, but I've seen him on jumping on shows and stuff. It never shows his face or whatever.
Well, I immediately thought he had been in line with Dark Waters because he called me Miss Piggy, and that's what Dark Waters would call me. So I thought, oh, he used to follow. I bet you he used to follow Dark Waters at some point, because now he hates Dark Waters. So I'm sure there was something there previously to all that. But yeah, that's just, And then all the fake accounts that have been popping up, and just disgusting.
Had some had some comment on here, I think, and stuff, and people don't want to. It's politics and stuff. They don't want to really show their real face because they're afraid.
I'm here. I'm showing myself. This is who I
Okay.
am. You want to come at me face to face. We can have a conversation.
Got an example here in the background. Not to interrupt and stuff, but this is from Mark Newbell and stuff, and he was so kind enough to say, hey guys, haven't been on Facebook in over a month now. Calling all cars. Oh, well, I got a phone call from a friend saying some rinky-dink podcast is coming on the air tonight. Calling Sisters of the Moon and Beast TV Hoaxers. Here's the link if you want to join in the chat room. He didn't join. He's not here. He don't want to join.
Oh, nice.
They get upset. We got flooded and stuff. We had a bunch of people commenting and blinders on, and so there's the proof that the people that we go after and the people who want to believe them and stuff, they have influence. All I got to do is make a post and make a dozen people or more show up and take on a channel, disrupt a channel, which is no problem. But God forbid if we did it to them, you'd be bullying, you'd be trolls, you'd get blocked.
I know.
None of them have been blocked. None of them been censored.
I didn't even reach out to Judy because I don't want to be thought of as bullying her. Well, I met her personally. I saw her and I had made a decision because she's always talked to me and told me, stop starting shit, Nikki. That was her favorite thing to tell me for a long time. Okay. Stop starting shit because of my show. But I made a decision a long time ago when I met her on the rim that I wasn't going to do anything to her. Nothing. I was going to take the high road because I was in with Stevie B and Moggs and Papa C, and I was there to have a friendship fellowship thing. We weren't even going to Bigfoot over there. We were just getting together to have fun when all that stuff happened and they got stuck, which changed the whole mood of everything, so I don't understand. I don't understand any of it.
I was actually kind of surprised you got brought up in that, I was like, wow, you got accused of that too?
Well, I think some people are calling out that as being fake and stuff. I know that got referenced and stuff. I didn't realize Judy was a part of that and stuff. And I think we showed that video on here before.
Whatever happened, they had their experience. That's their encounter, their experience. I think it was more paranormal than Bigfoot, but that was their thing. I never questioned them on that for that. So I was thought of as defending them back then because I was there. And that's a beef Lockbeard and I had way back then because he thought I was giving in to that thing. But I just thought that's there. You can't debunk somebody's encounter, somebody's experience. They had very little videos. The videos were disappearing or whatever they had, they weren't showing. So it's a dead end, right? So I just let them have their thing, and I supported them the way I could support them. And I'll never forgive my husband for this, but we had been there for 3 days already, and we had just packed up everything and were getting ready to leave when they finally showed up. So I didn't get to see any pictures or anything like that. They just told me what had happened, and I said, I gotta go. My husband was revving the engines, literally, and I had to go. So we had somewhere to be that evening. So it just went in such a weird way, that whole thing, and people demanding, where were you? What were you doing? It got to be so ridiculous. I thought that they don't have to tell you what they were doing or where they were at. That was their business if they wanted to hold that information back. And they're not the only ones who do that. There's a lot of researchers who won't tell you where they're at, what they're doing, any of that stuff. So I don't see why it was such a big deal for them to want to be private about. We had a little show afterwards. They told you their story and you either believed it or you don't. And then that should have been the end of it. But that's not what happened. It got all carried away by some people wanting to try to make them out as lying. And I thought that was wrong. So I defended them for that. I don't know. I may have been on the rim that 3 days, but I wasn't with them. They were probably only 10 miles away from where I was at. But when you're stuck in the dark in the middle of nowhere, you might as well be 100,000 miles away with no cell service. So that whole thing is weird, but it still doesn't explain what's happening with Judy. None of that. It still doesn't.
I have no idea. I don't think she's not really a regular on here and stuff, so I no idea on stuff. I
don't know any of this.
There's one comment and stuff right here, aka Harvey Dent, which is his own opinion and stuff, which everyone is free to give and stuff. And
what did that say? What did that say?
The other one.
It says, I know Judy well, and it says she lost her husband and she lost her mind the same day. Sorry. Now that's what Harvey Dent says, whoever that is. Whether that's true or not, I'm not going to sit there and verify it, but, it is. I don't know if that's it. I have no idea. But,
I mean,
when you do tell stories and you have videos and stuff and you put it out there and you're on channels and you're popular and stuff, people are going to question because people want to know the truth. And if, I don't tell locations because I don't want people to go there. I don't want things to be messed up, things like that. There's people who threaten me and stuff. And if they find out where we go, they probably show up there and try to do their own thing. And, so I get that and stuff, but when you're getting, if you present stuff, you should get expected to be questioned and stuff. So you can't get pissed off and go home.
But the thing is, it comes down to is like, what do you hope to get out of questioning them when there's, well, I guess, with their evidence, it's so subjective that it's like, you can't really say either way. And it's like, at that point, it's like, well, what can I really do here? And it's like more of like, well, like Nikki was saying, it's like, I just kind of let them have it because you can't say definitively that XYZ, that they're lying, or whatever. You can't say that at all. I saw nothing to indicate that. It's just not much you can do with it. It's that's what their claim is. You can either believe it or not. And I heard it, and it's like, oh, okay, and kind of moved on. I quickly realized I was like, well, it's probably something that I don't really need to, invest a lot of time in, because it's like, well, what do you expect to get out of it and stuff? So, going forward is kind of, if you recognize stuff in that way, it will help narrow down and remove a lot of the frustration where you don't have to look like you're not getting anywhere, or you're trying to change the whole community, because you're not going to ever do that. You just have to kind of focus on your own little thing here and understand who you should probably be discussing and stuff like that. So you don't have to, because with that whole thing with Judy and them, that was not going to get outside of that little circle there. Like probably maybe 100 people or however many people that are in that circle. It's not going to be anywhere else. It's not going to make it in some magazine. It's not going to be blasted everywhere on all the Facebook groups. It's not going to be the talk of the town. None of that. And that's what we have to recognize is when we're dealing with that type of evidence and those type of people, it's like, for me personally, that's the way I look at it. So I don't have to, do something that you're not going to get a big reward out of, as far as like, hey, let's show a Wes Germer as a hoaxer or something like that, where it makes more of an impact because more people believed in it, versus somebody who's like, who's this person over here? Type of thing is what they'll be saying. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it.
I mean, but at the same time, there's a lot of blowback when you expose someone who's doing their own journey out there and a lot of friends and stuff. So there is like got someone else who joined. I don't know how long they've been here. I might have forgot about them. All right. So it's Randy. He's joining us, Randy Harrington and stuff. So you guys make sure you guys keep it in the ring if you guys get out of hand. How's it going, Randy? I don't know how long you've been there. Sorry if you've been there for a while.
I've been watching for a while. I appreciate you bringing me on, Blake. I'd like to say, Brent, I've got no hard feelings for you. I never have. I liked you in the beginning. The issues between you and me right now have only to do with the way you took what I said and completely ran with it in a very negative way. That's the only problem I had. And for you to say things, even at the beginning of this conversation, like, for instance, I was messing with his masculinity. I must have been messing with his do you say incendiary things? Is that part of your nature, or is that a necessary thing to say to keep escalating things? Did you really have to say that?
Well, what did you say? What did you call me? What did you make fun of me on all this? And you're mad at that? So why did this start? It was because wait, I let you talk. Why did this start? It was because you were talking shit about me. That's why this started. I saw you in the Facebook post. Huh?
What's the shit that I was talking
You're out there saying, hey, there's a red flag about this person, not saying what it is.
Is that not an opinion that I can have? Can you tell me? Are you telling me?
Why don't you tell people? Why don't you tell people?
I did. At the beginning of this little podcast right here, you said several times, well, this is my opinion. I have every right to say my opinion when somebody puts something out there. So you're telling me that I can't say that I got a couple of red flags with some of the things that you've said, that I can't have my opinion, but you can have your opinion?
I say my opinion. That's the thing, is I'll say my opinion. You don't say what it is. So you leave it so ambiguous that leave it open to speculation. What if I went and did that, say, hey, Randy Harrington's investigations really kind of, there's some red flags that I kind of identified and stuff, and just started saying that to people. Would you be okay with that?
Well, I'm sure somebody would ask you what the red flags were.
Yeah.
Not me.
Well,
somebody would probably ask.
Why wouldn't you, just present that? Why would you have to make somebody ask you? Why do you have to throw that out there? So people are like, well, what's he talking about? Well, let me make something up in my mind. Let me ask everybody else here. Do you guys think that's okay to, throw something like that out there and, not be accountable for it? What do you guys think? Or am I overreacting?
I'll take y'all's opinion.
It all seemed, in my opinion, it just seemed at the time, because it was done off of, where was it? Was it on Marty's show? That it was meant to be negative and to egg on the conversation more. Had it come from you, later on your own or to Brent, then it would have had a completely different meaning, because where it happened, it was stacked on other people's comments in regards to, the trash talk on Brent.
All right.
That's how I
can,
got it.
We can agree to disagree on that point. But one of the things that I've got a problem with is the incendiary comments that aren't true. For instance, and I'd like you to answer this in front of everybody, Brent. I don't think you will. On your community thing, you said, I won't be helping Randy anymore. So can you answer me, when did you ever help me?
Well, I was kind of implying that I wasn't going to help you at all.
No,
like,
you said anymore.
Ever.
You implied
Anymore?
that you helped me before. The implication was that you've helped me before, because you said, I'm not going to help you.
Well, no, you wanted my help. You wanted my help, and I was going to help you, but I'm not going to help you anymore.
That's not how you worded it. You worded it in
how did I word it?
That implied that you had helped me before, but you're not going to help me anymore. My point is, did you misquote?
Well, no, that's kind of what. Did I misquote it?
Yeah. Is that what you meant to say?
About that I'm not going to help you anymore, that I was going to, but I'm not going to, is what I meant by that. Yeah. Why would I? I know. Why would I? Why would I say that I did when I know that I didn't?
This is important.
Well, if that's how you perceived it, that's how you perceive that comment. I see it as like, yeah, not anymore. I was going to help you. I was really going to help you, but not anymore after your behavior. Why couldn't you let me work, man?
See,
go ahead.
This is where it goes. You can say that, well, I said it this way, where I said I won't help him anymore. But you can say to yourself, well, I meant that I was going to help you, but I did. But you say it in a very incendiary way. That is not.
Well, I don't see it that way, because I don't even know how. I've never, like, I talked to you a handful of times. So why would I imply that I helped you before when I myself?
You've never talked.
No, I said, but like prior to this little thing, I rarely, hardly ever talk to you, right? So why would I say that? Oh, I'm going to go ahead and phrase it that way, where it's like, oh, I helped you, like, with what? What would I helped you with? That's something in your head, dude. It's your perception. That's your perception of that, of what I wrote. That's the way I thought of it when I wrote it. How you perceive it is apparently how you perceive it.
I just wrote it down exactly the way you wrote it down. So, so it's on your page. That's what you wrote down. My is you can twist things just enough to where it's not true, but it's very incendiary. Kind of like at the beginning of this little conference here, you said, "Oh,
how I was going to help you, but now I'm not going to anymore." How was that like? I don't see what's wrong with that.
Well, okay.
I mean, I was going to help you, but I'm not going to anymore. I mean, I'm confused.
How were you going to help? You didn't know what I needed help with.
Well, you said you wanted Chris Reinhardt. It says right there in the message you wanted to go after him. I know you brought up Zasky, and I don't know. I didn't even. There's nothing in. Huh?
I said I wanted to talk to you about it, about his hoaxing.
About Chris Reinhardt's?
Yeah, you're the one who keeps saying that I wanted you to go after people for me. No, I wanted to talk to you about a hoaxing that I knew about.
For what? For what reason?
Because it had involved Zasky and Carrie Arnold, or Carrie, whatever Carrie's name was.
All right.
Carrie Arnold, huh? Well, do you want to talk about that? Because that kind of is interesting to me. Because that's kind of a big one.
I'll definitely talk about it.
Oh, first, before that though, are you going to retract and apologize for the whole thing about the subs? Because I proved in that video there that I do not buy it, and you went on like a 10-minute tangent and also linked it to me, being attacking people. So, are you going to kind of do something with that?
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to apologize, but here's what I said. I said, I don't care if it's true or not. I said, I don't know if you're doing that stuff or not. I didn't say you
sure
were.
Seemed like you were implying that I was. No, you're like, oh, well, this looks funny here. No, you're not going to take accountability for it. So that's fine. That's fine, dude. I get it. I was like really warned about you. So it's like, I get it. This is the best I'm going to get from you. Yeah. Well, I get how it's going to go. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, okay. No, go ahead and have it out. You're saying that I implied something there where we just discussed.
You went on a 10-minute tangent for it.
Well, see, and here we go, where you just implied something that you said you wrote differently, but you implied something different. So it's okay for the goose, but not for the gander.
Read that again to me. Read that again to me.
I am not going to be helping Randy anymore. Keep my name out of your mouth. I am not going to be helping Randy anymore. I'm done with it. So where have you helped me before?
But he was going to help you.
Right, but he never helped me at all. So how can he be helping me anymore?
Nobody. He was. The point.
I was going to help you.
He was just really busy.
You didn't say, "Hey, I was going to help Randy, but now I'm not going to help him anymore." You implied that you had helped me, but no.
Why would I imply that when I myself know that I never helped you? Why would I imply that? Why do you think I would imply that in that comment when I myself know that I never did? So why would I even imply that and throw that in there? It's the way you're perceiving what I wrote.
You're the only one who can answer that.
Well, that's why I'm asking why. What would I gain from that too? By the way, what would I gain from whatever you're trying to imply? What do I gain from that?
What would you gain from most of the things that you posted over there?
Yeah. Well, tell me, what would I gain from what you're implying?
Because it falls in line with everything else that you're saying over there. You said,
but what's my gain if I am implying that I helped you in some certain way that's not with what we're talking about with that hoaxer Chris and all that, whatever, how would I benefit from that, from taking that angle? How would I benefit from that?
How am I supposed to know what you think you're going to benefit from?
You're the one accusing me of it because it makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense. Like, but here you're like hung up on it. You got hung up on a way that you're interpreting something. I phrased it. In my mind, it's like, I see nothing wrong with that. In your mind, it's like, hey, you're implying that you actually did help me with something. It's like, no, I even know that. So it's like, okay, so you understand that, right? It's your perception of what I wrote. Because I agree with you. I never helped you with anything. I was, but now I'm not.
All right. Well, I sure appreciate all the help that you were going to give me before that.
All right.
Well,
So
I mean, you went a little crazy on me, buddy.
Let's jump over to this Reinhardt hoax and stuff.
Well, I'll talk about I'll talk about Chris Reinhardt.
What is this?
I need to make sure that we bury this with Brent. We may not even come to an agreement on this, but there's no point in going forward. We can just say, you know what, I'm done with you. You're done with me. Whatever. That's okay. But if you're going to keep throwing out incendiary things, then you're the one that wants to keep this thing going. You kind of like brush fires.
I no, it's not that I like them. It's just they just kind of appear when you talk honestly about, you know, what's going on in this subject. And I don't see it as brush fires because I just don't even pay attention to it, because if somebody's going to be upset about some facts that are being presented, not my problem. I just keep going on my way. And if somebody has an issue with it, it's up to them how they're going to actually respond to it. So,
well, your rebuttal video was very interesting in that you were kind of very demure and hand wringing and playing the victim, and and I just don't understand, man. He's stalking me like a girlfriend, like an ex-girlfriend or something. I mean, I'm not even sure why you would use that verbiage, given the allegations that other people had said that I don't know anything about. But to even use the verbiage of a stalker type situation between a girlfriend and boyfriend, it's kind of odd to me. But towards the end of that, you were like, man, I was really worried about him. He just sounds like a guy with mental problems and all this stuff. But yet you really must not think that, because then you started all this brush fire by pulling my opinion about having red flags, which is really not that incendiary. Just saying that I had a couple of red flags about you is really not that offensive. Because,
well, why say it? Why say it? What do you expect to gain from that? This point. So I'm going to go around and start saying, I see red flags about Randy Harrington. That's what I'm just going to go start. About his investigation. Yeah, I will.
What? It's no skin off my back.
Okay, we'll see.
The thing is, you got butt hurt over it, and you yanked it off over there, and you started this big diatribe. Keep your name out of my mouth, and don't blah 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 blah. Completely uncalled for. You know what? You could have actually sent me a message and say, "Hey man, what was that all about? Why do I have red flags?" And then I would have told you. So here's here's a red flag. If you're really interested, when you did the Wes Germer show, and I don't particularly like Wes Germer. I like listening to radio shows about Bigfoot. It's no big deal. If he's a hoaxer, great. I don't know about all that. But what did happen was, when you said something to the fact that people were making up different voices, maybe you heard somebody tell a story and you heard a different voice and you're like, man, I think I heard that voice before. People are coming on there using different voices and giving a whole different story. And then that segued into, you said Wes Germer is paying people to do that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's jumping a pretty big chasm of accusation with no receipts. And you say a lot about receipts. So where's the proof that he is paying people to come on his show and pretend to be different people so they can tell different stories? And it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me if you didn't preach so much about people showing up with receipts if they're going to make these claims.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't have any proof that that he's paying them. I don't know. Did I say probably in front of it?
Yeah, no. You said he's paying people to come on his show.
I don't know. I would have to go back, because I'm pretty sure I would have said probably before that, because I don't know if I would say that.
I'm sure
somebody
needs
to go.
Now you would say that. I'm sure. So, but you see, I can have my own opinion about the things that you say, and there can be plenty of red flags, and I can say it wherever I want to, because you yourself have said if it's put online, you said that you can have all the opinions you want about stuff online, but why won't you afford me the same courtesy?
Well, because I first saw you make that red flag comment last summer, actually. After you unsended all those messages. It was after that when it was, I cannot remember what it was. You blocked me on Facebook, so I can't even go look. But it was in one of those messages where you made the same comment about the red flag. And when I saw it right there in that context of a chat that's going after me, that's just like, man, that's a dick move, but that's who you are. So that's what I learned. That's just kind of what it is. No, it's just who you are.
Well,
I mean,
would you like a rebuttal?
Sure.
Okay, well, you're a dick too, if you want to start calling names, but you're a dick too. But you did the right thing at that point by not worrying about it, because it was my opinion. You did the right thing at that time because it was my opinion, and you let that ride because people have their opinions. This time you didn't let it ride, and you did a dick move. So don't be calling people dick if you can't handle being called a dick.
I'm okay being called a dick. Apparently you can't, and I don't see anything wrong with it, because and I get it. You don't see anything that what you did could be used in a lot of different ways, can be interpreted a lot of different ways, and you're okay with that. You don't want to take any accountability. You just want to go throw this little thing out there that's so ambiguous that anybody can interpret and use that little thing as like, oh, well, I can apply it to this. Oh, I can apply it to that. Oh, this, that. You don't see it that way.
Well, you've got 6 different videos where you're telling people, you're not answering my messages. I've been messaging you for a year now. We could work this out if we just get on there, and we could get on a live stream, and we could work this out so that people can hear you talking and see your facial expressions and talking the truth. So you had all of these opportunities, even if you thought I was mad, and all of this stuff didn't come out until you could put a good story together. But you really didn't have much of that to begin with. So especially when you had that video where you said, if more people would just reach out, man, we could really get these hoaxers exposed. I wish more people would reach out. And that comment that you saved, that was not an aggressive comment. That was not a comment that hurt anybody's feelings. It just said,
But you sent me that comment after you talked shit about me in the Facebook group.
So that's how you perceive that comment, because it came after something
I see it as
else.
talking shit. Yeah. Well, you're here talking shit about me, and then here you are reaching out to me again saying, hey man. So do you know why though? I didn't want to. I stopped talking to you, and I didn't respond. Do you know why, right?
You get triggered. You like saying triggered a lot. I'm seeing you triggered right now. You say triggered a lot when you talk about other people. You don't concede.
That's if
much.
they are.
You don't make much concessions. You want people to apologize for you, but you don't look in the mirror and see anything that you've done that eggs things on, that you may say things that not appropriate. You don't look at yourself.
I admitted that, like when I made the reference to beg, I'm like, in that video, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have used a better word. So that's a concession right there, right? It's like I could have, yeah.
So are you apologizing for not being truthful?
No, I'm completely truthful.
Okay. Well, you want me to apologize?
Yeah, because fuck yeah.
Okay. Blake, are you seeing
I gotta get Mr. Time in right there, end of round 1, as we're all joking and stuff. But let's get into this Chris Reinhardt and stuff, because saying there's a hoax
Brent, I think there's a market for hoaxers. I don't like hoaxers myself. I appreciate the work you're doing, even though we've had this dust up. I apologize that we have this dust up. I don't want to have this dust up. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary drama. It's unnecessary bantering back and forth. Let's just end this and be done with it. I appreciate the work you're doing, but I can't apologize for what I've said, because I've said what I said that I thought needed to be said. I mean, if that's the best I can give you, and I hope you can live with it.
No, I'm fine. It's just you don't understand the wrong in something, and that's
there you go. Okay, yeah, you don't understand the wrong either, Brent. Let's just leave it at that. Instead of ending it in a very as best we can, you're gonna keep poking, you're gonna keep digging. I get it.
Okay. I agree, Randy. Let's go ahead and just bury it. What was done was done. Let's just go ahead and move forward. And can you please not say that about me about red flags? Or if you do, can you at least tell them what the red flags are so it doesn't leave ambiguous? Can you at least do me that favor there? I wouldn't get mad if you said that, if you would just not leave it so ambiguous. Just go say that. Just
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, it's easy to say after the fact that you would say, well, if you'd have done this different, but we don't know that, because if I would have done it the other way, you still might have got just as mad. We don't know that. So you can always come in and say, this is what I would have done. We don't know that. But I agree with you. I said things out of anger. I wish you would concede that you did too. Because
I did. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I said something, like I said with the whole beg thing, it's like, oh yeah. And you're right, that whole masculinity thing, that was a jab. That was a low blow, only because you took it down pretty low with calling me man child, making fun of my name and stuff, my family name, dude. Come on. You see why I took that jab?
Clearly.
Okay.
We're all grown adults here.
Mm-hmm.
This is an entertainment thing. People like watching this stuff. I mean, so we get.
I'm here to find Bigfoot. I'm here to see and find a Bigfoot. So that's all I really kind of care about.
Hoax, then. You guys
Randy, let's bury it. Let's move forward on it.
I'm going to reach out and shake your hand.
There we go.
Now that's remove good man shit to do right there. You guys.
I will remove
each other by the day. Shake his hand.
I want to say I'm going to remove my video when we get done off this thing. I'm going to go into my YouTube and I'm going to remove that video. I'm done with it. I take everything back. I'm ready to just get back into the woods and do the research. This is just too much silliness for me.
I agree, and I'll do the same. I'll remove all that, and I'll go ahead and make a community post about how we worked it out, and this is the way it should be. This is how we should work things out going forward.
Yeah, and maybe we'll
come and talk about it. Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's something I learned from. It's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't make those little low jabs or all that stuff. So I appreciate the feedback and stuff. So thank you, and thank you, Blake, for having a. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on with this?
Well, he runs a Bigfoot site called Sasquatch Discover or Discover Sasquatch or something like that.
Yeah.
I met him when I first started going to the 400 with Shane Carpenter. He was friends with Shane Carpenter and was invited down there to be a part of our little ensemble. And it was my first trip there, so I was unaware with the activity level there at 400. So. And I'm just someone who was invited. So I basically could only observe at that point because I hadn't become great friends with Shane the way we are now. We've been together 7 years now, and we're I'd consider him one of my best friends. So it's taken him 7 years to get to know me and allow me to be that person. But for the first couple of years, Chris Reinhardt was there. And there were things about this guy that I struggled with when I met him. I mean, he was... Oh man, my God, he was a chain smoker. He would smoke probably 20 cigarettes and take them down. He was so nervous. I was like, man, what are you even doing here? And then as soon as it would get dark, he was just off the wall, afraid. I mean, he would stoke the fire up to the size of a bonfire, and I'm trying to say, look, that's not how we do things. We keep it kind of quiet and low key. The headlight that he would use on his head was the size of a car headlight. I mean, it was huge. He would light up the whole woods with, because he was afraid. But Shane liked him. Shane was his friend, and I was just a guest. I just had to live with it. Mm-hmm. But then things started happening where he would start interfering with what we were doing because he was so afraid, and just going on and on about, we need to get back to camp, man. We shouldn't be out here. I mean, the Bigfoots are back at camp. Didn't you hear that noise back there? We need to get back. And I said, Chris, you said it 10 times. We heard you, but we're going to be out here by this hidden pond for the next couple of hours and see what happens out here in the middle of the woods by this little pond. I said, we'll get back to camp. So those were the kind of things we had to deal with. What I didn't know, and Shane didn't know either, is he was on anxiety medications that we found out later. He had anxiety medications, and he did not have them with him. So that's why he was bouncing off the walls afraid the way he was, because he was missing some of those anxiety medications. Well, anyways, so we get in the tents one night, and I've got parabolic recorders that are in logs, and these things pick up things that are so far away. We've gotten so many good recordings from these things. Well, I had it laying on the ground behind my tent with a headset. I lay in my tent with a headset on, and I'm listening with a parabolic while I record into that parabolic. and I had it laying between our tents. Shane and Chris was in the big tent, and I was in another tent with maybe 10 feet of space between us, and I had the parabolic laying out there. Well, we get up the next morning, and I was like, oh my God, a Bigfoot breathed on me through the tent. It huffed at me. It huffed at me through the corner of the tent, but I had already had this whole experience of him just being completely wired and almost psychotic about what was going on there. I said, well, I'm going to have to listen to that recorder, man, and Shane went around, didn't find any compression, no broken twigs, no nothing. So all we have is him telling the story. I got huffed on through the tent. Now, this tent was one of those big cabin tents that had 6 corners because it's made for like 12 to 14 people. Okay. So it had 6 corners. So I'm like, man, you're awful lucky that the Bigfoot picked the corner that you were sleeping at when there was 5 other corners it could have took a chance on. So it actually was, that's part of the story. And so I listened to the recorder. I think it was the next day. It's where I have to download it into my laptop and put the headsets on and listen. So there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing on that recorder. And I told Shane, I said, it didn't happen, man. I said, but he was Shane's good friend. So Shane let him have that story. Shane and I have talked since, and Shane regrets that that's the one thing that he didn't call him on. It didn't happen, but he tells that story every time he talks. Oh, and he goes, and you can see the hair raising up on my forearm. It breathes on me through the tent. And I just cringe every time I hear him telling the story because I know the truth. And so that's the hoax that I know happened because it didn't happen, but he tells it because now it's a part of the story that he has to tell that makes him with a Bigfooter with experience.
Well, he was there. He was there at the 400 if he drops the name and stuff because you guys are popular and stuff too. And the influence of one person can
and I don't know why I was so gung-ho. I was gung-ho back then, like reaching out to Brent because I didn't want it to expand. I wanted to nip it in the bud because I knew that every time, because since he was there with us, that I felt like him perpetuating that story would never reflect good on us, me specifically. You know, at the time I was really only worried about my reputation. You know, so yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. And so out of morbid curiosity, I looked at some of his, he went down to Florida and he gets involved with all these other people and he claims that Bigfoot is texting him on his phone in his pocket and he got a retinal tear. He got a retinal tear. He got a retinal tear that he claims was from infrasound. And so it's getting so ridiculous and nobody calls him out on any of that stuff. And it started with us and him saying a Bigfoot breathed on him through the tent. And I'm sick to my stomach that I didn't call him out on it then.
Well, it's hard to have those discussions and stuff. And how do you bring that up and stuff? It's hard. And,
So what about the Carrot Arnold and Zasky part of that?
Well,
you have anything else?
That's when he went down there and was doing some Florida stuff and he was helping. He was trying to get involved. I realized then that he was jumping skirts and jumping coattails and trying to get where he's at now, which is the big. I have this website and we're selling everything and doing all this stuff. I mean that's
he went over to that island with the Monster Quest guy.
Right. But he went down to Florida, and I think the Florida trip.
Yeah, he went over to that one island
with Doug.
Yeah, with Doug, and supposedly stuff happened, and I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean,
pretty sure stuff happened.
When he
then that begs the question. This guy's lying. There's multiple, and I've heard people comment that he was using Carrie, especially after Carrie passed away. He was doing some stuff just to get money and because but whatever.
I mean, just to
but there's some red flags that
going back to the telephone incident where Chris came back and was like, oh, I had the phone, we weren't getting phone signal. And next thing you know, I pull out my phone and there's all of these letters on the phone. And I start looking at them and I'm like, what is this? What happened? Man, there's been times I pulled out my phone and I'm one button away from ordering a magazine from China, a magazine subscription from China. That's how many buttons you can push in your pocket. So he pulled it out and seen these letters on there, and they're like, man, we were trying to figure it out. And we started looking at the letters, and you're like, every one of these letters is the first letter of everyone's name that's here. So the Bigfoot actually knows our alphabet and what symbol is the beginning of, like Blake has a B at the beginning. So a Bigfoot knows the letters of our alphabet and which ones are the people that were actually there. And just the ridiculousness of it all. Maybe we could have ended it if not only if we'd have kicked his ass out of the 400, but told everybody about him then.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, Doug, spent time and resources and money on some guy who's obviously not a viable source for information or a researcher in that regards too. So I see what you're talking about with that.
Well, I've got the audio from that night. I've held on to it in case he ever wants to make a stink. So if anybody wants to talk to him, we'll pull that out and we'll find that stretch where he's in the tent telling Shane, I'm scared, but he was having a night terror, and it appears to me that he has had night terrors. That's why he needed that medication, and it culminated into seeing shadows in his house or in his basement, and so now of course he's got shadow people stories and things like that, and it just keeps, it's a snowball that just keeps rolling downhill, and I want to wash my hands of it, but I'm morbidly attracted to it because I'm connected to him every time he tells that story. And if you watch the videos where he tells the story, me and Shane laugh every time he does it, because he'll do this. He'll go, and then it breathed on me to the tent. See, look, my hair is raising up on my forearm. Like that gives it validity. Like saying that your hair is raising up on your forearm, that gives it that it must have really happened then.
And this is the problem, because these guys have friendships and stuff, and even, regrettably it happened to you guys, and then he's, hanging out with Doug. I think he went on a trip with Robert Kreider over there, and they had issues where
Robert Kreider had issues with him.
Big time.
I think Chris said he went through a portal and it pulled him through the tent wall.
I didn't even hear that part. I know that. I know that they, gave half a year to train to work it up and do this, talking all this bad stuff. And when you get there, it's, they complain about walking. They can't do this stuff. They left other members stranded on the mountain and stuff, which is dangerous. A big no-no. Yeah. Taking away the spot where I would have loved to have went there and actually got some stuff done. But instead you got this hoax, this fake fantasy guy, acting, and
here's
of course, they don't want to show any of the evidence they took and stuff. Well, they didn't want to show anything, and they don't want to talk about it.
Here's some more interesting stuff.
And he's jumping with Doug and all this, and it doesn't give credibility to whoever he's hanging with, and they get evidence. Like, it doesn't.
I mean, this is me piling stuff on just to verify that what I'm saying is true. I'm doing what I'm calling piling stuff on. But because he and I were friends, of course, on Facebook. So I was his friend, and I could see his girlfriend, Maria, who I could see their pages. So I would look at stuff. Well, they live in apartment buildings, but he'll tell stories about being in his house. He calls it a house because if he says it's an apartment building, it won't be as believable as being in a house that has helicopters flying over it, and something left a coyote bone in between my door or laying on my porch, and something left a dead bird between my screen door, and something tore up my girlfriend's hummingbird feeder and then brought it back. But on her page, she shows a bunch of pictures looking through the window, and there's a family of black bears that are destroying her hummingbird stuff. And so it's funny how twists it just enough to where, if he said he lived in an apartment building, people would be like, well, are you sure it's not other people? Are you sure, or whatever else? So yeah, it's an interesting
I didn't know
situation.
That. I remember hearing that.
Yeah,
that's big deception.
Big time.
Right. So there you have it. That's I went about it the wrong way, trying to get it out there. I apologize, Brent. I was over exuberant in that I wanted that stuff out there.
I interpreted your over exuberant in the wrong way. So, it's equal blame on me. So, I'll take that as well. So, but it's out now, and I think more people are going to start looking into it and start putting those pieces together now. So
I'm sure I'm going to lose friends. There's people that like him, and he's a nice guy. I mean, that goes without saying.
That is the problem.
I'm going to lose friends, but what can you do? You have to be willing to lose friends.
It's either the truth or the fantasy, and that's where it comes down to. It's people are telling stories, and it ain't fucking happening, and they have all whatever reasons. It doesn't matter, but a lot of people are towing this line of believe in it, and it's allowing it. And this is a good example. If you tolerate it and you allow it, you don't speak out, it can evolve and affect a lot of things. Now we have this Chris Reinhardt, who he's been on my radar. This helps a little bit because he seems fishy and stuff, where it just seems like it's being made up in the evidence and stuff. But he has grown and influenced. He's a pretty popular guy on his channel. He's getting to go with Doug and all these places where credible researchers should go. Yeah. Now it's kind of a stain, especially if all this stuff does come out. He's hoaxing this. It's fantasy. I mean, it doesn't look good on Doug. It doesn't look good on people who can't vet these people.
I watched the round table that they had when they got back from that cabin that they were at, Canada, and they're like, oh, and all these noises. We heard this wood on the back, and they're like, Chris, what did you think? And Chris is like, I think there's a family of them. I think there's a mother and a father and two little, and I just have to laugh, just the ridiculousness of it.
So Blake, maybe in the future you can set up, have like a little panel discussion of, kind of going over his evidence and kind of going over some stories with it in a way that is not derogatory, in a way that's not attacking, but just kind of open up, because it's like we're learning stuff that we didn't even know before. You are too. So it might be a good opportunity to further the discussion so people learn more about it. So maybe Doug will be like, hey, yeah, maybe I probably won't, so people don't
like this. I got to add this. You're going to like it. He at the time, he was part of a pyramid scheme money-making thing that's called Monet. It's a Monet hair products and makeup that his girlfriend was involved with. He was an executive partner where you have to buy in and become part of the program that you sell to people under you. So she was an executive partner. He was an executive partner. They even had pictures on their page where they had gone to one of those meetings where all the top people had parked all their white Cadillacs out there at the end, and he took pictures of the Cadillacs and was hoping someday to be one of the white Cadillac owners. And his son's girlfriend also sells the essential oils for the little kids, and that's a pyramid scheme. And so they are completely wrapped up with these pyramid scheme money-making things. That's where he's honed his skills because you have to sell a product that doesn't work. You have to sell yourself and, fib and all that stuff. And I could see the pattern there. I was like, he's just transferring all of that stuff that they learned in those pyramid schemes into what he's doing now. It's fascinating.
I've seen him begging for money to go on the Robert Kreider trip and doing all this, get funds to be able to do all this. And it is about money and making money, and seems a little fishy. And Jeff says, I lose friends all the time calling people out for the bullshit in the real estate world, the hunting guide networks, etc. Truth coming at a cost isn't exclusive to this community. I think a lot of communities are dealing with that. The paranormal, the UFO, the ghosts. From a little stuff that I've been watching and stuff that's happening there, and it's truth versus fantasy. And we have
need
people
to figure
in our
out
community that and there's different levels and stuff. There's it's complicated.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to better talk about this so it's not so accusatory. Like with this whole Chris Reinhardt, it's a really good opportunity to have a discussion, not have it be a tasteful discussion, but a way to create a discussion of how we should talk about these people, because he's probably collecting, he's wasting people's money and time, is what he's doing, especially like Doug is. Think if like you know, like it just reminds me of the whole Bigfoot tree when Brian Sykes wasted so much money on this tree that you know should have been easily debunked, and it was all a hoax, and but nobody can talk about it because it was all taboo and stuff because nobody knew how to talk about it. This is kind of a similar thing where it's just affecting the community in such a way that it needs to be discussed in such a way.
And there's so many people that like him. I mean, there's so many people that like him. And like you said before, and believe me, I mean, I've watched both of your guys' show. It's throughout the whole arena, and that is a friend will be a friend, whether they're right or wrong. And that's a lap dog. You're going to get attacked by the lap dogs. They don't care if it's right or wrong. It's the fact that they feel like they're protecting their friend. And I told Shane, we had a conversation the other day, and I'm just going to use this for an example. Shane and I had a talk about you know what was going on with you and me, Brent, and I said, man, he said, yeah, he said, do a live stream, go get on there. And I said, look, I said, I don't want you to support me if I'm wrong. So you know, and I'm just saying, I high and mighty, I thought I was right. No matter what, I think I'm right. So I'm going to admit that now. But yeah, but I just told him, I said, look, don't support me just because I'm your friend. But I do appreciate that. I mean, you have to appreciate that. You know, somebody of friendship. Mm-hmm. Shane is really he's top of the food chain. He's extremely nice. I
like him.
He doesn't like the drama. He's going to hate the fact that I'm on here, just because.
No, there's so much great that benefited from this. We buried the hatchet. We're good. You know, we'll be friends. We'll work together on how to have better conversations and not misinterpret things and stuff. So much great is coming from you being on here.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'll be more than happy. I mean, I like to think that I'm kind of smart. I mean, I go way overboard. I do, but I am pretty passionate about it. And I completely hate hoaxers. I mean, it chaps my ass. So if there's ever anything that I can do to help by trying to be like, say, part of a panel that's going to objectively, you know, articulate and try to be smart at what we're looking at, hey, maybe I can join in on it just because, you know, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I would too, Blake, if you want to, because I really think that this Chris, I don't really know him at all. So, you know, but we need to have a discussion like this. So it's something that would be a good opportunity for you to do. Set something like that up.
Yeah, you guys are always welcome on the channel, and anyone can come on and, you know, talk and debate, you know. Hopefully they all can end up like you guys did. And but people are blatant and lying, and people who know about it need to talk about it and come out, because this is a good example of this Chris Reinhardt, and he's been on my radar of how it can evolve. You know, people say, you know, Brent, you said it well, you know, some people just need to be left alone. Well, some people can flourish and evolve and blossom into things, and
those are the ones
it's a fine line to toe, right? Because not everyone deserves it, but at the same time, there's so much bullshit because everyone is tolerating it.
Chris Reinhardt would be a good battle. Chris Reinhardt would be a good battle because he's so, you know, from what you guys are saying, he's so influential. If he's like, you know, going out with Doug and like Doug wasting his resources on somebody who's just kind of not a viable person to have out there. We could have had you out there, Randy, or somebody else that, you know, would have, you know, probably made a difference in the investigation, probably would have collected some sort of evidence or something, not just, you know.
Well, you can influence. Having him there influences everything.
It does.
It influences everything. So, like, it comes into question all of the evidence they find because of that one person.
Did you guys watch that show that they did, the round table where all of the people in that cabin talked on the show for Doug? I listened to it. I don't remember. I thought it was hilarious.
No, I don't believe I did, actually.
Because the room that Chris was in, now, granted, I know the time that I spent with Chris, he was so afraid it was almost ridiculous that he had even chosen this profession or hobby with that kind of fear. So he tells the story about being in this room with another gentleman with all the lights out, with all this stuff going on behind the cabin, and he's against the wall. He has to be scared out of his gourd, if I know Chris. And the other gentleman, when he tells his version of what happened that night, he's like, I don't know if there's ghosts or paranormal. He said, but a ghost sat on the edge of my bed down there and smashed my legs. I was like, that was Chris. That wasn't no ghost. I know that was Chris that moved away from the wall of the cabin and sat on your bed because he's probably that afraid. It's just funny.
Hey guys, I got to bounce out real quick. I'll talk to you a little later, Chris, or not Chris, but Randy. But yeah, I'll get all that stuff removed and all that stuff.
All right, but yeah, I'll take it off as soon as I'm off here.
Same here. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, you too. All right, bye.
I can let myself go too. I mean, I don't really have much else I can add to it.
Yeah, if it's up to you and stuff, we'll probably be winding the show down. If no one else joins, has any other concerns that they want to bring up or stuff like that.
I appreciate you. I was wondering if you were going to bring me on. I didn't. I thought it took some balls to pop in, but that's me, man. I'm like,
I'm glad you did. I am so glad you did.
It turned out good. I think it turned out really good.
I always hope happens. Okay. If we want to go back a little bit to when LIB Mike came onto my show when Brent was on. Okay. That is what I was hoping would happen at that point. Okay. It didn't. Okay. Brent does his thing and he can be very assertive, and Mike just kind of didn't, make his points like you did, Randy. So Mike got frustrated and he left. So things didn't get talked out because I keep thinking that had Brent toned down a little bit and let Mike talk, and Mike, they could have at least come to a point where it would have been, okay, we're going to agree to disagree. But that never happened. It never culminated.
Well, there has to be some concession. That's hard. That's the hard point to reach, especially when you got two people that think they're right. And there's nothing that you can say that convinces me that I'm not right. But you're going to have to concede a little bit. There has to be some concession if you guys are going to come to terms. And so we both dropped it down and we both accepted responsibility for our parts. And that's what it takes. But that's a hard part. That's a hard point to get to.
It is. It's a very hard. And I did it with Rick Dyer and Steve Coles. That when Coles came on, it was volatile for the first 5 minutes. I thought, holy shit, I'm going to have to end this stream, and pull Coles off. But I didn't because I saw it starting to come down. And then by the end of that conversation, they were having a conversation. You know
how long I've been in this game? I was a field researcher for Steve Coles back when he went under the employment of who was the guy, the Biscardi.
Tom Biscardi.
Yeah. So way back then, I was a field researcher for the Midwest for Steve Coles out of New York.
Wow.
I've been doing this forever.
That's wow.
Yeah. But, it happens and things get turned around sideways and got ugly. But honestly, I think there was some players in there that really made things ugly recently. So, including that UK guy. I don't know how he got involved in all this, just inserting himself in all this mess. But
well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Blake. I was listening to you last week when I made those comments that I did about Mark Newble. And I hope people know that across the board, I'm the same with everybody. And Mark Newble has got me on some of his podcasts, and they've had great views. You would think that I would appreciate that enough to not call him out on anything, but that's not who I am. If you're wrong, then I'm going to say it. And unfortunately, he'll probably take my videos off. I can live with that. But yeah, I appreciate you, Blake. I've listened to you a couple of times. I think you're across the board, level-headed. I mean, your balance is good, and that I think that's important. So
appreciate that.
But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. There's really no reason for me to hang out on here any longer. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on and stuff. And I'm glad you guys could settle everything.
See you, buddy.
See ya.
See you, Randy.
Yeah, Mark. You know, I'm looking into more of Mark Newbill's stuff because it seems like that whole crew is fishy with hoaxing and can't record stuff. Amazing stuff happens, and only one little tiny fragment of the whole night gets shown. And I actually have potential of looks like they might be hoaxing other audio and stuff. And I shared some with you, Nikki, and shared it with Steve Coles and some other people, and it's turned up some stuff, but still trying to figure out where the buzzsaw audio comes from, actually.
Yeah, you gotta do the research. You gotta keep searching, and
I might be wrong. I might have to come out and say I'm completely wrong, and this is more legit than I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't really follow them, so I don't know much about what's going on over there. I tend to, you pick and choose what you do and who you watch, and I tend to keep moving on to some. I like to watch the ones I want to watch, and if I think I don't trust what's coming out of a tribe, then move on. Too many out there to pick. There's 1,000 Bigfoot channels out there now these days, so
there is
a lot to choose from. But thanks. This was very interesting.
Thanks for being on. I'm glad you're a part of it.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up here probably at the 3-hour mark. We'll call it good.
Let me leave.
Oh, having struggles there. I'll help.
Yeah,
what do you think about that, caller kid? You were a little silent during that, but
I didn't have an input, and I didn't want to get involved.
You didn't know anyone. You didn't know what was going on, so. And I'm glad they've worked it out.
Yeah, there's 1,000 Bigfoot channels, and I just love watching Squatch Watchers.
Yes, and there's I love calling them out. I love calling out the bigger fish that are making an issue, even though small fish can, as an example, grow into bigger fish and influence. And it only takes one of these people who are not in the right mind. They're too scared. They're off their medication or whatever. They just want to lie. They want to be, like narcissistic. They want to be in the attention. So like, oh, there's stuff happening here, guys. And it influences the investigation. It definitely takes away from the real investigation that was planned or what people wanted to do. But any evidence that they find or, is influenced, and it is not the truth. It's fantasy. And like, people who go with more reputable people, and then it's like, oh yeah, if I found out he's a hoaxer, but we had this experience, and like, it is not going to vote well in the long run, because we can't accept this, that you can't tolerate the fantasy. You can't tolerate it. You can't tolerate it in any part of your life. Only the truth matters, and the truth does hurt people. The truth is upsetting. That's the point of it. You live with the truth or you ignore it. And a lot of people are friends with a lot of people and want to ignore stuff, and because they're nice people and stuff. And I'm more concerned about Bigfoot research and stuff, and instead of making friends and stuff. I didn't get into this. It's, scientists when they make discoveries.
Stories?
No, I don't like telling stories or having people on here telling stories, and you can't really know if it's real or not. I mean, if it was about making money, I could vote myself to doing that. You see the channels who just are storytelling, and there's no evidence of anything. I lost my point I was going to make before that.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember. Dang it. That's okay.
I can go back and find out. Hold on.
No, I was just thinking, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's definitely going to influence people, and it's going to influence. I didn't come into this to make friends. I didn't come into this to right. Scientists and stuff, when they make discoveries, they don't let their influence, they don't let their friendships influence the outcome of the findings. They don't let, just because you're friends with Bob over here and he's doing whatever, and we just let him Bob be Bob. That's not how things are accepted. If we wanted to be more credible and want scientists to look at us, we want the news not to laugh at us, then our community shouldn't be filled with rampant people who are delusional in a false reality and want everyone else to believe it, whether they have problems or not. I mean, it's a joke. This is a joke. This is why, everyone thinks Bigfooting is a joke.
Yeah, I tried to tell my friends about it tonight.
It's a fucking joke.
And yeah, they just didn't want to listen to me, so that was fun.
Yeah. Even though you really know what's out there, you've experienced reality. It's not a joke to me. It's not fantasy to me when I'm out there and experiencing real stuff. Like, I get mad that people want to like make up fantasy because they don't have many fucking friends, and like now they have a bunch of friends or whatever the fuck. It's like it's a slap in the face to people who've actually experienced stuff, who actually try to go out there. People who actually get made fun of because we're actually out there doing it, because of people like that who were hoaxing. We got this Chris Reinhardt begging for money all the time, doing this, doing that. Everything's fantasy. And that Robert Kreider, going the Robert Kreider trip, I wanted to go to that. And it was like, yeah, train, bust your ass, and get work done. That's what I used to tell Carrie's and talk. Like, the next 168 was going to be work, not a camp out, not a vacation, 8-hour shift of work. And people just, Chris Reinhardt or these fantasy storytellers, they don't know what real work is, and trying to go out there and get stuff done and be in the blazing heat or on a mountain or in the swamps or in the cold. I'm about to go on some solo camp out expedition by myself. Barely just got some snow, but it's freezing temperatures. By myself, trying to get some stuff done. Hopefully show you guys some evidence and stuff. That's some fantasy storytelling. This week or weekend.
I'm available next week.
Yeah, next week probably work too. We'll probably join in, get in something. Maybe we get Tyler to jump in, and we'll camp and freeze our butts off and stuff.
I don't want to go like north. I'd rather stay around like where you're at.
It's be around here and stuff. If it's freeze and stuff still, there's places I want to check out and stuff. We got some people I got to call and set up some more interviews and try to verify more evidence and some stories that I've been getting. But I care more about the truth in the Bigfoot community than friendships, than politics, than subscribers and viewerships and all that. Like, because we're never going to go anywhere. It's going to be a laughing stock, and we don't have any integrity. You can't say you have integrity to stand for the truth when you allow bullshit and people out there. They're in their own fantasy land, and there's no integrity in this. There's no checks and balances. I mean, it's the wild, wild west. Everyone's out there doing whatever the fuck they want. You know why I care about honesty and the truth? It's because honesty in the Ojibwe, or their Algonquin seven grandfather or wise grandfather teachings, Bigfoot is represented as honesty, and we have in the community people who are dishonest. whether they have issues, whether they had trauma growing up and they need 50 years of Bigfoot to cover up the trauma, it's lying. It's not being honest. It's not honesty. It's not honesty. And if Bigfoot is supposed to be representing honesty to the Native Americans tribes, the Algonquins, linguistic tribe, which is several tribes, but Ojibwe mainly, Potawatomi, Chippewa, Ottawa, Cree, a dozen or more other ones that I'm missing, all that kind of have similar customs that believe this of the 7 grandfather teachings. Not every single tribe in America. Their representation for honesty is Bigfoot. So when people are not honest and telling stories and it's truth versus reality and stuff, it's important to me that honesty and the truth is the only thing that should matter. Not friendships. I don't want to expose, well, maybe they're hoaxing this. Maybe the story's not so stray, but I don't want to cause issues. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not having integrity. It's not the truth. We're here represented by the turtle. So I'm pretty sure it's important, everyone wants to be believed, right? When they have real stuff happens. But not everyone is being honest when they're telling their stories of what happened, the encounters and stuff. So don't be so ignorant to believe everything. Don't be dumb like that. Don't believe everything you hear. Just because they have a smiling face smile doesn't always mean a smile. And it's up to everyone else to have their own objective observation on people to see, I think that person's full of shit. You might, and I sometimes get feelings about like Chris Reinhardt. I had feelings about him for a while. I didn't know like real stuff, but then, grabbing for money all the time. And you hear about him going and doing stuff at the Robert Kreider expedition that totally puts people in danger. You're talking about leaving people stranded on a mountain and stuff like that. Not listening when you're on a
sounds like someone we know,
mountain.
right?
Yeah, people not listening. People want to do the things for themselves, in it for themselves, putting other people in jeopardy, putting witnesses at jeopardy. People are in the Bigfoot community. I've been threatened. I've been threatened by former members of my group and stuff. One guy keep getting into it, and finally gave him my 2 cents, and he kept exploding it and going it and trying to threaten. And if we have another event, he's going to show up, and there's nothing I can do. He's just going to show up and interrupt it. Okay, well, we'll see. People are crazy. I've dealt with some alcoholics and stuff that are Bigfoot researchers, and they're out there and they fucking hear shit and they find stuff and it's real evidence. Really? Is it? You can't conduct yourself professional in any professional way. I mean, there's a lot of that. But they're Bigfoot researchers. I think most of the time, a lot of these people, when they go on these Bigfoot campouts, a lot of alcohol is involved. And I've seen plenty of people get drunk out of their mind where they're of no use to be a witness to anything that actually did happen. And they're not reliable to take in the field. They're a hazard. And I've seen more arguments and things. I've seen a lot of arguments and drama be caused because of alcohol, because people are under the influence. So that definitely plays a big role in these campouts and stuff too. And there are other channels out there making a buck out of you, So, we got 5 more minutes left, 4 more minutes left. Mm-hmm. I'm passionate about it because I'm passionate about this because this is I want to be. We don't have, this ain't no like weekend hobby. I'm passionate about it because like I want the truth to come out. I want us to discover Bigfoot. I want us to research Bigfoot. Like, come on now. If we had more people as passionate about it and as driven as like fucking Michael Jordan or something, you know, maybe we'd find some shit, right?
We got a
maybe
comment.
There's some what?
There's a comment.
What was that? Which one?
JT.
Did his name start with C, Blake?
What the person you're talking about?
The drunk ones, or
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Right? No, I don't. I think he's probably talking about someone else, or. But I lost my thought again.
Sorry.
No, I got distracted because I'm trying to think. All right, wait, C. He starts with the C that I'm talking about. I just totally lost my focus and stuff. We're almost done and stuff. But you know, I believe people should take this more seriously because maybe shit would get done. Maybe we would find some stuff. Maybe we would actually get somewhere. And I think we need a lot more people to take.
You're saying something about Michael Jordan. You can find some shit.
Yeah, because we need to take it more seriously. Like we need people to take this more, like extremely seriously. Like this is all they want to get done and accomplish. Without that drive, without that motivation mindset, we you know, this is what we've got the last 50 years. This is what we're getting.
Yeah.
Squatch watchers. Anyone, yeah. Everything's Bigfoot. There's no accountability, no professionalism, no nothing. No. If we had younger generation inspired and wanted to actually get out there and gung-ho and be the real deal instead of acting, going camping, vacationing. Your entire Bigfoot research is, you know, staying at camp, not doing much, which you can get lucky. You know, I've done it. It happens. But like when you commit yourself to actually doing stuff and trying, so there's just a different sense. There's just different accomplishment that comes to that. You know, all this like lackluster, like Camp Red Eyes with Debbie and this, you know, Sisters of the Moon. Well, we had all this stuff happening. All we did was just stay at camp. I mean, it's like the Bigfoot just know to show up each and every time. They don't got going anywhere.
They just smell them, you know. They know
bunch of cows that they got mooing and stuff. I didn't show the clip, but she said she got the whole first night recorded of all these moans and, well, they're calling them moans. Moons, moans, and all this crazy stuff, but where is it? Never presented, never shown. But believe me, because I'm a nice older lady who, you know, goes out in the woods and trying to look for Bigfoot, and it's my thing, and I live in a fantasy land, and I'm lying to your guys' face, and you know, but I'm your friend.
I mean, it might
give me money because we need to go investigate over here and this and that, and buy us new thermals that, you know, died. We can't use. New night vision died. Couldn't use. I'll tell you something. We have been in minus -5 degrees. When we recorded the temperature, that's how it was, right? Yep. During the day. I left my audio recorder out in the snow, and it recorded 24/7, no problem. My equipment didn't fail.
I know thermals do die in
thermals can die, drain a little bit, but everything. We've been in -5, and all our equipment worked. Like we were intense. We were in stuff not designed for that cold weather. All our stuff worked. It's just those excuses.
It's possible she did have an encounter, but it's kind of not hard to like. It's hard to say if she did or not anymore because all the audio that she has doesn't seem to be legit.
Well, she don't show any of the audio that she supposedly has. She has a whole night's worth of stuff that she could show, but
I meant the other one, but the other encounter.
Right, of the very first one. Well, they've had several campouts of stuff happening, and Beast TV.
She doesn't have much to show, is what I'm trying to say.
No, well, they don't have any things to show, and when they show it, it's all through Beast TV and Larry Porch, Debbie Porch now, but you're a part of the family where you got to be. It's all about the delivery of what you're talking about, not really the substance. Because when you start talking about survival and tracking, there's a whole spiel about the philosophy of it, but not actually how you do it. And that's what you get from them.
I don't watch any of.
The only reason that the whole Beast TV crew has got on my radar is because of the 168, because he went there and I experienced firsthand preschool Bigfoot preschool 101 at the 168, when the 168 is supposed to be like professional. We're not in kindergarten. It's not Bigfoot 101. It is like we're out there to get shit done. If you think this is Bigfoot 101, you're in the wrong place, and this is not the strategy that we should be doing. This is not the kind of discussions of learning the Bigfoot 101 tactics when we're in the 168, supposed to be like top team of researchers from around the country. None of us need a refreshing course on Bigfoot 101. None of us need to act like that's our first time going out there doing this shit. But for him, that's the way he does it. Well, I don't know. I don't know. You ask me. I asked the people who went out with him how many times they went out and did anything. It was only a handful of times. You go watch the live shows and stuff of Carrie and stuff. He gives praises to people who give him praises and stuff. And Mark gets praised a little bit. Mark Newbill gets praised a little bit because he went out and put his audio out and did a little segment of Bigfoot 101, and they filmed that with him. I mean, this whole idea of going back to the second camp to sit at camp to do nothing. So the red flag started with, I personally was there with him, and I made sure I physically did not want to be any group that he was leading, or really any group he was in out in the field, because he wasn't doing anything. You wouldn't go anywhere. You weren't going to do anything. You were going to listen to Preschool 101. When we went out there and I led people out there day and night, we went off trail. We went everywhere. I was there. I went by myself in places that people had encounters and got sick and all this stuff, to go change out recorders and go do the stuff that needed to be done. Not, it's too hot out. No. Go ask people. No, too hot. So that's how he became on my radar, because I just didn't trust from my own gut. My own instincts is telling me this guy's full of bullshit, because what he tells on his show and what he does in the field when it's time to fucking act. This is it. We're at the 168. This is where all the talking, all the strategy, right? All the Bigfoot strategy that, we were planning for 2 years, because the first 168, they didn't end up going to Florida. They went to the other place, and they had a whole nother year to plan and strategy. All of that didn't mean shit if you didn't get off your ass and actually go do it. And that's what I found out. And that's when I really looked and found out, well, people tell a story on their show, and when it really comes to reality, they act a different way. And that's what I experienced with Mark Newbill firsthand. And that's why I've watched some of this stuff, and it's some of the bullshit, some of the red flags come up I see it begging for money. Always, need donations for this, for a new thermal for the Sisters of the Moon, and this and that. And now, well, the fucking shit they don't get shit. Don't work. On most of the audio that they've ever presented, it sounds like coyote stuff. They had Patrick Vaughn on there, a known hoaxer, got exposed. Everything is a lie. And played his audio, and it's from Unknown Animal, from Mark Newbell's expert experience and opinion on the matter. From Patrick Vaughn. Oh, now Patrick Vaughn's been outed as a hoaxer and storyteller. Mark Newbell didn't take that video down, didn't say, oh, this guy's been a known hoaxer. This audio that we shown was most likely fake. No, it's still on there getting views, still getting clicks. What does this one say from Joe Parker? Blake, what did it have upside to the place to find Bigfoot? I'm not sure what you're...
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe Florida. I thought the whole idea of doing it in Florida was stupid. Ain't disappointing finding out people you think are the man are really not. Florida was good. I had a great experience. Like, I experienced stuff. I filmed shit. I filmed the red eye shine that made it to the film. I filmed a fucking Bigfoot crossing the trail on Carrie's camera, going in off the trail into the bushes. Now, that's still not come out. That's in a storage, on a storage device. Who knows who the fuck has it, because everyone wants to fight over it, and who knows if it's ever going to come out because of politics. Well, because Carrie died and stuff. There's a lot of pieces of evidence on the hard drives that never got out, never that was supposed to be shown, but I think it was rushed. There should have been a 168 part 2 with all the footage, but there's a lot of reasons for it. Mainly which Carrie didn't have enough time, nor did he want to work on it, and then he gave it to Mark Zaski, and it's a long process. And of course there's drama and fiascos, and I don't know if there's been fights of trying to get that stuff back, and there's evidence on this stuff that needs to come out. And to me, it's more important than any politics and bullshit, because everyone who filmed stuff on there and everyone who caught stuff and it was acknowledged of having evidence that was stored on there was told that this stuff would come out and you get acknowledged for it. And that's what we did there. So politics, frustration, backdoor dealing with a lot of people who, as soon as Carrie died, were, on the side of one side. And then, when Mark Zaski had so the equipment had to, he jumped ship and now he's over there. And he never got called out for that, but other people are calling out a bunch of stuff. Yeah, they're orbs. The orbs were filmed. I filmed some orbs on a psionics that it never got shown. I don't have it here, although I do have a lot of psionics video. I have some evidence that I'll show of. We were all at the campfire on this last day, and Carrie was there, and anyways, we pack up, we start moving towards the car, and we start having activity. Christopher Noel's there, actually he's right there. We're all right there filming, and stuff starts happening. There's rocks or something get thrown, and that was never shown in the documentary. I have it here. So a lot of people got upset because stuff had, people got upset instantly and mainly because they weren't out there going to do anything. So shit didn't happen to them. It's plain and simple. And they had to rag on Chad because Chad was drunk out of his mind because he's alcoholic. But he actually does go out there and does go out and get off his ass and go do something. And that pissed people off because he's out there sweating his ass off, drunk, but he wasn't sitting on his ass. He was taking the opportunity and trying to do as best as he could. So again, the problem with this is the way people shot the film and the way it was stored did not make it possible. Well, this is the frankly thing. No one. I was out there I think majority of the time, probably more. I was up, I don't know, top 3, let's say. I don't want to brag and say I was out there more than anyone, but the problem with that is no one was out there to film long enough to make it possible for a non-stop. No one was out there for 8 hours straight besides me during the day. Or, we'd go out there for 2 hours and they'd come back. That was it for the day. And at nighttime, try to, I don't even know. All the night things I went on, most of the night investigations and led them. So, I don't know where even the other people went besides sitting on their ass. And some stuff did happen at camp. We did have some activity and people get stuff on thermal or something stuff at camp. We did have everyone running around and chasing after stuff on thermal because there was something in the tree. And I was around the people where they were thermaling and it was behind the tree and it disappeared. I was right there and stuff. So there was some activity, but that was close to camp. So all the people who didn't really get off their ass did get off their butt and do a little something there. But the reason why there is no large amount of, because no one was out there to be able to film consecutively like that. I think there's definitely was enough footage to make a couple parts and stuff, and I think that see, this is the problem. It's about making a documentary, not necessarily about all the evidence found, because if it was about all the evidence found, all the evidence would have been shown, talked about, and that is the main importance of it. And and this is what no fault of care, but this is what all documentaries are. It's about kind of a story, not about the evidence. And to me, that's more important than anything, because what we filmed, the psionics, and what I filmed on Kara's camera that's never come out, this thing fucking crossed the trail. That's more important than the story. That's more important than the story of us just doing this. The evidence is more important. Some people didn't agree with that. I don't think to Carrie, I think the story was a little bit more important and stuff. And that's, everyone's different. To me, the evidence was more important. And because the evidence was not as important as the documentary, a lot of evidence was never even found on this storage device. Even though we know it's there, no one has physically gone in and looked at it to cut it, to grab it. No, it wasn't important. It wasn't the main focus. So there's a lot of orb videos on there. I know there's some audio roars that I personally recorded that should be on there. We have some nighttime audio I've been working on of some stuff. I know I got it down in the basement, but I do have my 3-toed cast track that I casted that didn't make it into the documentary, but I did cast it. The first cast that we found that did make it to the documentary, but I have a whole nother cast that I filmed that I actually have all this to show that I poured it and we got it. That didn't make it in the documentary, but it was still there. So a lot of stuff didn't get shown. A lot of stuff my hope is that it will be shown. Mark Zaski, if he has it, will show it eventually, maybe, if he finds it, works on it. There's some possibly other people who I know that might have it, which it will never come out. And other people who said if they got some of that equipment back, that it probably won't be shown, which a lot of evidence that is amazing is it's not important to some people as it is to other people. So whether it's, but a lot of us are told that, we get credit for filming everything, should get, there's so much stuff that should have been, it could have been included, but because it wasn't shot the way, or people talking in it wasn't good for a documentary, and how you move the documentary along, the storytelling aspect, that you can't use it. But if you just had a raw documentary of more reality and you showed the evidence, there could have been a lot more stuff that could have been shown, and maybe there was some swearing in it. People were a little animated and stuff. So that's basically the long story of how Mark knew Bill and Beast TV, Sawdust, Beast, whatever. It's all the same group, how they got on my radar, and the Sisters of the Moon, and just bullshit. And that's the only way you want to, that's the only way I really can tell without hard evidence of hoaxing is I'm out in the field with people and I can tell they're full of bullshit. So anything else you want to drop and lay down?
Got a couple comments saying you're a savage.
Oh, really? Oh. Lone Wolf says, "You a savage, Blake. A day is rough. 8 hours a day is rough." 8 hours in the Florida sun in the heat, and then 8 hours at nighttime if you can. Well, 4 or 5 hours at nighttime, depending on when it gets dark and stuff. But that's when I envisioned and you can hear Carrie talk about it. Some of his last little interviews, he started talking about it. It was going to be work. I was the one who started saying this needs to be considered like work. This isn't child's play. It's a vacation. I'm not going to Florida to go hang out at the beach. I'm going to Florida to bust my ass off, to get evidence, to work, and for Carrie, for the boss, to try to get the documentary looking good, but to get evidence, to get recognized, to have witnesses, to be collaboration. And other people had different mindsets, and people wanted different stuff. And that's why the third one technically, but the second one that we'd go to Florida, that we were going to shoot for before Carrie passed, was there was going to be people there like Mark Newbill and some other bullshit con artists that I'm thinking, who didn't want me there, caused issues to Carrie and drama. Carrie didn't give a fuck. He told me what I needed to do to make sure it was cool with him, and it was fine. Other people had a bitch fit about it, and I think it's hilarious. But this next time, it was going to be, I think if it happened and more bullshit of people not doing what they say they were going to do for their whole fucking year, and then when it's time to put up or shut up, they don't put up. I personally think that it would have come to the surface, and people would have been called out eventually. I think so. I think because when you're acting and you're playing the fantasy and you're lying and stuff, and then when it's time to show up and do the real work, you're incapable of doing it. You come up with excuses. You have stories of whatever. Mark Newbill talking about all these times of all this previous expedition he's doing, talking about how hot it is, talking about whatever, inclement weather, whatever. But when he's talking about, oh yeah, we did this strategy, we went on this and this and this. But he's not doing nothing here in Florida. Not doing nothing. Sitting on his butt. It's too hot out. Yeah, it was hot out. It was hot the first day we showed up to Florida, and it was hot all week until we left. Did you expect something to be different when you woke up the next day? Florida was magically going to be colder.
I mean, he lives in the South. You think he'd be used to warmer temperatures, right?
It was excuses, and it's bullshit excuses. And it's like, why are you even here? You're taking up the space from someone who's actually could be out there capable of going out there and doing stuff. If we wanted you to talk about stories and Bigfoot 101, you could have been on the phone. You didn't need to be there. Every strategy that I heard coming out of his mouth, I was rolling. I didn't want to be a part of him. I didn't want to be next to him. I made sure that the Lost Cryptids went out and did our own thing, because we weren't waiting on fucking people to get off their ass to take us out, because the team leaders didn't want to go do anything. The team leaders didn't lead. Lost Cryptids decided, you know what, Carrie, we're going to go out here. And if anyone wants to join us, you can. After we had our first night of craziness going on, people did want to come out and go do stuff, and people got kind of cranky. Like Mr. Mark Newbell, because he wasn't leading people and he wasn't educating them in the Bigfoot 101, which no one was there to do. It's like showing up in the big leagues, and this guy's trying to teach you how to play fucking t-ball. Like, and this is the team leader. And so that's where I get this red flag. That's why I hound him, because I just, it's so much bullshit. And I've experienced it firsthand in the field, and I don't like it. I don't care if he has a lot of campouts and people come and they have good experiences and they fucking hear shit. To me, it's all fantasy. It's all make believe. It's all, these guys are influencing the other people because they're the Bigfoot experts, that they're teaching everyone. It's a joke. All right, so let me see. Yes, it should have been like that. It could have been like that. Yes, 8 hours is a rough day, especially in the swamp with humidity. Yeah, you're right. And if you weren't capable of doing that, and you're not able to do that, then you shouldn't have gone, because it was for people to actually get out there and bust their ass and get shit done. And it was rough. It was rough. It was a rough week. I worked my ass off. I made sure I didn't, I came from, once in a lifetime opportunity for me. And it was, because now it can never be done again. I made sure to bust my ass to leave there with no fucking regret, knowing that I gave it my all. And I did film stuff. The only regret is that I didn't fight hard enough for that piece of evidence to come out, to be found, to be discovered, and to make sure that shit came out. That's my biggest regret, is I didn't talk to Carrie enough. I didn't fight enough. I didn't make sure that piece of evidence that I filmed came out. That's what I regret, because I didn't fight hard enough for it. Because I thought, it's not my thing. It's not my project. There's so many other people involved. It's going to come out. It's going to get handled. Well, they fucking didn't. And a lot of shit didn't get handled the right way, because I think a lot of people were influencing Carrie and doing this and doing that. And I don't know. But looks like it's not going to come out. Waves and crew to catch something. Yeah. Well, we all, every evidence that got caught, we talked about, and it got downloaded, so everyone knew about the stuff that was going on when people came back. But yes, people are carrying concealed and open carry. I was open carrying while engaged in camping activities in Florida, because that's the only way you can legally do that, because of wildlife and stuff like that. Yeah, Carrie did pick everyone and stuff, and did have interview process, and you kind of had to fight for your spot in there. And I talked to Carrie. Luckily, he got picked, and other members of the Lost Cryptids, former members, got picked. And for better or for worse, we made sure that shit got done. And at least they had enough integrity and stuff to do that. So we did get that done. If Zachy releases it, will be his Patreon with his pictures of, I don't know. I'm not on his Patreon, so if it did get released to there, I would never see it. Who knows? I think the best thing to do would be for Zasky to reach out and try to collaborate with the people who actually have evidence on there to just find it and get it out there. And then everyone can give their own opinions on it and stuff. Because I know there's a lot of people on there who, they don't want Zasky to have that, to be the one to show it and stuff. But I think that if he was to give that up to Linda, let's just say, I think there's a good chance that none of the stuff would ever come out. She don't care, and I'm not going to get into it, whether or not, what was said is right, wrong, mad, blah, blah, blah. The evidence that should be coming out, that should have come out and stuff, might come out. It might not come out. I want it to come out because it shows the truth of what we experienced, not just what people are saying. It can give a lot of credibility to a lot of people who experience stuff. And we were told that this stuff would come out. So, all right, I think that's about all the Was Zasky a good team leader? Yeah, he actually got out there, got off his. He actually went out there. Actually, I got video of him in shorts going out there, and his snake was by him, and he jumps up and kind of gets off the trail a little bit. But yeah, he went out there. We went out there. He was a little surprised when I was out there leading the crew and showing him all the places that we went and what we went to. He was a little taken back that when I say we go off trail, we literally just, you go off trail and you go through whatever. He was a little taken back that we went through and kept going through the stuff that we went through, but yeah,
especially with all the crazy stuff out in Florida.
He did thought it was, oh dude. The only way to go through it, there's bugs everywhere. There's bugs, there's spiders everywhere. I came across a massive web, a big old spider, and it's just like, I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna walk 2 feet this way, and I'm just gonna keep going, and and not think about all the things that are possibly crawling on me right now. Yeah. And I wasn't no joke. This when we go off trail. It's
well, yeah, but in Michigan it's different because we don't have alligators and snakes.
You just be more careful. You take it a little slower. You look around a little bit more.
Spiders.
I'm not letting a little fucking bush stop me and say, oh, well, I went off trail. I went off trail until, the bushes got in the way or, it got a little scary. Like, I tried. I pushed people into the stuff with me. Either they're going to follow me or they're just going to get left behind and you guys can do your own thing. It don't matter to me. A lot of people followed and pushed through, and that's why you got... When you watch the live shows and Carrie talks about the Lost Cryptids, there's a reason why, he says we're fucking badass and we're out there doing the shit, because I was out there doing the shit. I wanted to make sure the shit got done. Because the first 2 days, that first day of looking at the team leaders, like, hey, we're going out, when we're going out. And it turns into hours. It turns into all day. It's like, okay, well, now we're going out. Whether anyone else wants to go lead or do whatever. So I appreciate that, Lone Wolf. Appreciate that. Mark Barton was there. That was so woo. That was the one where he's all. Is that the one where he's like, there's Bigfoot out there, like mind spoke to him, is going to kill him and like rape him or something, and like there's these hooded, mask robed things out there that are controlling the Bigfoot type of thing?
Some crazy stuff. What
was that? Yeah, he was crying on the show. He was crying on Bigfoot Odyssey, like as it was happening. So like people thought it was real because he's on there crying about it, and then there's a lot of reasons why people come on and lie to your face, cry about it, and it's only an issue when you call them out and you start exposing the lies. Then it's an issue. Then you're being mean. You're a bully.
Yeah,
you shouldn't pick on these people.
But other people can bully, and it's okay though.
Like Mark Newbell, yeah, he posted, "We're just a rinky-dink channel." That he felt the need to post.
I was more talking about Red Creek.
Red Creek is another one. He's a little. I don't even know. You know, some of these people just get so huffy and puffy because it's their tribe, but at the same time, it's like when you look in you just some people. I don't know. You know, they don't look like they're really at a level that they're actually capable of like doing any real research, and it's not just fantasy. Like a lot of these people just go out there and start doing it, and it's like, oh, I'm finding a track, like the Squatch Watchers. Bend down, there's a track. Oh, there's tracks across the river. What would we do if we're flying a drone, we seen something black, heard wood knocks, we see these large tracks across the river on the sandbank? What would we do?
I would find a way to get over there.
What would I do?
Swim across the river.
I would just go right the fuck over the river. I don't care. Oh, here's all my stuff. I don't want to get wet. Maybe get down into my boxers and go across there to go verify that there's a Bigfoot that just came down and did this and not deer. And then, but what we see from the Squatch Watchers, there's two Bigfoot running on the drone footage and banging on trees. And then they found tracks across the river that they never checked, never verified. But yet they're promoted as professionally driven individuals who strive for integrity, who are, Christian in the interview and brought that up. It's a big thing about their faith, so they wouldn't lie. Really? Because that, when you say that and then you lie, you fabrication. Why say that? Why bring that up? Like real Christians don't brag about how Christian they are. I mean, from my point, is real ones don't. You don't brag how Christian you are. You don't tell someone, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and then to convince them that you're honest. Being a Christian doesn't make you honest. Doesn't make you an upstanding person. Does it just because you have some title? I'm a Christian and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, you don't throw that title out there to cover the fact that you're not going to lie. Everyone lies. Everyone sins. Everyone sins. So to present yourself as some holier than thou, I'm not going to lie because I'm a Christian. Well, you're not much of a Christian, because the whole point about that is every Christian sins and asks for forgiveness that only God can provide. So if you're a Christian who doesn't do anything, doesn't lie, you're lying. Doesn't sin, you're kind of lying. Sorry. All right, we went way over this one. I'm gonna shut it down and stuff.
Yeah, they're still talking about that guy that
shows with Pat. Squash Talks were good.
The one about the Masters.
I see. I don't know. I recognize this, even that name and stuff, and it's like,
Mark,
instantly recognize that fucking story. It's because it's one of those most outlandish things you hear, and the dude was crying on it, so many people believed it, and then it's like, oh, he's faking it. Whoops. For whatever mental fucked up reasons and stuff, and
yeah.
There's so many different and like Brent says, not everyone's worth taking a look at, but everyone is worth acknowledging whether or not it's fucking fantasy or it's reality. And people can say, well, you're gonna hurt their feelings. We can't hurt their feelings stuff, they're not bothering anyone. I'm just, short term, they're not bothering anyone. Long term, they're bothering the community and our professionalism and our standards and how we're looked at. So,
yep.
Very cool. Very cool. I've been on Pat's show. Actually, I seen Pat gave me a praise in the last show we did. He watched the full 4 hours and said did an excellent job on busting some chops. So that's kind of cool. I'm kind of disappointed not as many people joined. Maybe Mark Newbell didn't make a post about it, so
that's probably what happened.
None of his, and I used the term cult members, cult. It was like a cult mentality. Oh yes, master. You said we got to go there and flood the chat, and kind of disappointed none of them came in to this one. Red Creek didn't show up. No one wanted to talk or express any concerns about anything. Didn't have to be about us or stuff we covered. Could have been about anything. As we've seen, Brent came on and Randy came on, and the discussion that ensued, and how things can actually be worked out. That's a good example about how two men can work things out, even in being in each other's faces 5 minutes before. It can become an understanding and stuff, especially on things that maybe there's misunderstandings and overall their same goals. I think we learned a lot. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. I think it's important to discuss directly, even if you have a fucking problem with someone, what the issues are and stuff. And we did that with Steven Struford here. It was kind of chaotic. It got way more chaotic than what these guys did on here. But I called out Steven because he's an asshole. He's an asshole to everyone trying to come to the subject and just want to learn. Of course, now he's picking up the ashes of his bookstore. That was about a year ago. Maybe he's trying to rebuild some of it, but it's not acceptable to tolerate bullshit, assholes, con artists, liars, fantasy storytellers, people who are just greedy, who want the money, who don't care about people. You might think I'm being mean, I'm an asshole, and I'm a bully or whatever, but I promise you, caring about the truth is more important than being called names, more important than the politics and the fringe and stuff. The people lying to you, whether you think it's a little fibbing, whatever, they're lying to you. They're going to continue to lie to you. The lies are going to get more and more and more and more more fantastical. And it's going to come to a boiling point for everyone who is tolerating it. So, mark my words. I think by the end of this year and stuff, there's going to be more issues with truth versus fantasy. Without further ado, guys, take care. God bless. Make sure you guys work out, do some push-ups and stuff. Get that body moving. Don't be a couch potato, but actually work out and become healthy and stuff. So I think I'm going to go do some push-ups here and get some food, get some drinks, work on some stuff. Got some stuff to dive into, some further stuff to investigate with Beast TV, Debbie Jones, Debbie Porch, Mr. Spence Jameson, Mr. Chris Reinhardt, and a few other guys lurking about, I'm sure. popping up on the radar. You guys have anyone, if you guys have evidence of hoaxing, send it my way. If you guys have evidence of hoaxing, you can send it there to my email. You can send it to the Facebook group, Lost Cryptids Conservatory, the Lost Cryptids Conservatory Facebook page. You can message that. Any actual real evidence stuff, or maybe stuff that you want us to investigate, to look into specifically, we will look into it, because we want the truth to be more important than the stories, than the people. I'm sorry, but the truth is more important than the people in the Bigfoot community, because for us to discover and get it recognized, the truth is the only thing that should matter, and not the bullshit. And if that upsets people, I'm sorry, but I only stand for the truth. And if the truth shall kill it, then let it die. All right, guys. Let's take it easy.